Hey everybody.
I
Um Sorry for being a little bit late. It looks like daylight savings had messed up everybody's clocks.
Oh
Unfor-
yeah, that's what it was. That is true. Just not too long ago it changed.
Yeah, so we changed last week or 2 weeks ago. So we changed to the winter time. So I know
Yeah.
some of the world already moved and some of it didn't, and everything's a little nuts.
So
Yeah.
so the what do you call it? The when you do it automatically through the internet or whatever, it doesn't it
Yeah,
doesn't change automatically in the thing.
yeah. Unfortunately, at the same time, we also because we recently edited the entire event series, so we made some changes. So I guess so technically we're supposed to start like in about 40 minutes from now. But as long as you're here, we can start talking
Oh,
about things
so
and
this
so
this
on.
is not the first workshop,
What do you mean by the first?
the first in a series.
Oh well, okay, so we changed the AMA sessions a
Mm,
little bit. So what we're gonna do, so tonight, the first hour, hold on, let me just check the schedule just to make sure that I got everything the right way. Yeah, so today, the first hour, we're gonna be joined by Niraj from Twin AI. So
mm,
Twin AI is a company we met in New York during AI Week. They do AI voice agents in a very interesting way. So they
okay.
do their focus, as far as I can recall, is outbound calling. So
Mm-hmm.
they do mostly outbound sales, and so they have a very interesting use case. And we actually invited Niraj to come in and number one to talk about their product on one hand, but also to discuss the challenges of outbound. Outbound calling is a nightmare, both
Yeah.
in the U.S. and other places in the world, and so on. So we kind of like we're gonna talk about that in the first session of the hour, the first part of the session. Um, the thing. And after that, after the first session, we're gonna go back into the office hour slash ask me anything session,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be like an open-ended discussion about issues or challenges any of you are currently facing. And then next week, we're gonna have a whole 2 hour session that's again going to be based on the office hours. So it's going to have 1 hour of a technical presentation or kind of like a workshop.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other part is going to be similar. And basically, again, open-ended questions and so on. And the week after that is going to be a Cloudonix velocity workshop where we'll be actually going through specific topics that are directly related to Cloudonix and how they work with other AI systems and so on.
Cool.
So,
I'm really
well,
looking forward to it, Near. It's
yeah.
great that you
So,
took time
yeah.
to teach us something.
No, we're trying to, this is the entire these Zoom sessions were kind of like put together really rapidly because we started seeing people asking a lot of questions.
Mm,
And I said to myself, something, why not just make it more organized and offer something that is more, let's say, not only organized, but makes more sense to people.
yeah. I
Yeah.
can see as Alex started his series of workshops, that actually connected us to retail. We were using Vapi, and then after these sessions with Alex, we just switched to retail because it made sense. He
Yeah.
showed us about
So
the value, and he was there to help us with the issues and so on. So
yeah.
it's really great.
Yeah. So there's quite a lot of new stuff that we recently added. You know something? If you're already online. So I'm gonna show you something really cool.
I'm going to move from my phone to the laptop.
Okay.
I was
So
actually I was actually hoping to see this also. So you guys actually are main team. Are you teaming up mainly with retail or with other voice agent
So,
companies?
so we, that's exactly what I wanted to show.
Okay, I'm gonna
Good
go.
one.
I'm gonna think right now.
Good
One
one.
minute.
Good one. I got, we're kind of like a little bit before, the actual thing. So wait a minute. Sharing screen? What screen am I sharing? Okay, hold on. Share. Ba-ba-ba-bum, da-da-ba-bum-bum. Here we go. So, basically, so this is the new developer website. There are a lot of new updates that I need to upload. We simply didn't get around to do all of them. But, today you can hook up all of these AI providers.
I'm kind of new to the whole
Okay.
industry. What does that mean?
Okay. It means that, so you're familiar most probably with retail and Vappy, right?
Let me get this.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. So you're probably mostly familiar with retail and Vappy, right?
Yes.
But like retail and Vappy, there are others. So 11 Labs provides voice agent services. Synflow does. Dasha, Ultravox, SuperDash, DeepVox, RelayHawk, and others. So today, all of these platforms are integrated into Cloudonix. So that means that you can build, you can have, let's say, one phone number that is connected to Cloudonix, and then you can just move that phone number to whatever platform you want. And it will
That
work
is
exactly
nice.
the same. Will work exactly the same. So we actually did so. So one of the things that I'm currently working on, I need to get myself, and finish it. So there are like these recipes that you can use here for retail for Vappy. And one of the things I'm currently creating is a full-blown tutorial of how to connect, for example, Twilio with Cloudonix, and then into, in this case, is going to be retail, but it's going to be one for retail and one for Vappy and one for Telnix and one for all kinds of systems. We recently finished building our integration with platforms such as SignalWire, if you're familiar with that. Um, if you're doing out-of-bound services in the US, we now have Cloudonix now has its own US interconnect with full level A steer shaken attestation. So basically, calls when they reach mobile devices, they don't show up as spam.
Oh, cool. That's
Yeah.
only US, right?
That one is in the US. We are in the process of finalizing a hookup, a similar one for Canada and the UK.
Okay.
So hopefully that will be done this week. So I need to finish the testing on it and make sure it works the right way. There's been a whole lot of new stuff that was integrated into the platform. Um, so there were a lot of security features that we recently integrated. Um, and da-da-da-dum, here's the beautiful part. If you are familiar with a platform or service, or let's say you're building something for somebody that uses LiveKit,
Okay.
we can turn your LiveKit account. So LiveKit, if you're familiar with it, you log in, you create your workspace, and it gives you like kind of like the SIP URL, saying the SIP URI is saying, okay, here's what you can connect to, and then hooking up multiple SIP trunks into it is a horrible nightmare.
Mm.
So now we can set you up. Any customer of LiveKit can make their platform available on Cloudonix simply by sending us an email or going to our website, like here. So basically, so velocity, AI voice connect. So basically, the form is dead. I need to fix the form. Scheisse. Uh, I need to fix that. So there's a form here that you can fill, and basically will open up your LiveKit provider, and it will be fully integrated into Cloudonix. It will be made available like this. Uh, where is that? Voice application, dial service. So basically, you say, for example, I want to add a new provider called Ivana, and I'll make it available in like 5 minutes.
Yep.
So you can do that as well. So we're actually getting people sending us requests, and we have to verify them now. So it's gotten really nuts the past, that's it, past month or so.
Sorry, can I ask something?
Sure.
Um, the real meeting starts at 9:30, you said?
It's 10:30.
10:30, 10:30? Okay,
Yeah.
because I just want to invite some people in the
Yeah,
community. I
yeah.
think the
Go
more
ahead,
people come
sure.
in. So
Yeah.
10:30, it starts 10:30 till 12:30, I guess.
Yes, it's
Amsterdam time. Amsterdam time.
if it's Amsterdam time. What time is it? So right now, what is the time in Amsterdam?
Now,
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. So you see, so where I am right now, it's 10 o'clock. So
okay, so in
it's
half an
10:30. So
hour.
it's 9:30 your time.
So
Okay.
9:30 my time. Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
But
Okay,
are you
9:30.
now on winter time or still on daylight
I'm,
saving?
we're on winter, I think.
Yeah.
Our
Yes,
one
it's
changed a
the
couple of,
winter.
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah. So it starts 9:30 your time, 10:30 our time in
And
the
it's two
US.
hours. And it's two
It's
hours.
normally it's a 2 hour session.
Perfect.
We had sessions that ran to 4 hours. We had a session that ran to 6 hours. Um, the thing is that for me, it's at nighttime, and I'm a night owl. So sometimes people come in and ask questions, and we just keep on talking and fixing and figuring out all kinds of things.
Yeah, I'm new to this. I really want to get change a new life for my family. So it to me the time doesn't matter. It's just I have three
Mhm.
kids, so anytime after 7 is my best time. Is the time that I can actually focus.
Well, I get that I got two kids of my own.
Yeah.
Um, so I got a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old.
So
Yeah.
puberty hits up.
How much? And you, Ivan, how much do you have?
I
Sorry.
have just one, but he is now 3 years old, so she's small.
Okay.
Uh,
I have
little kids,
uh
little problems.
I have
Yeah,
a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a stepson, 14 years old, puber. So you know
Uh,
how that is.
all boys.
All boys, yeah, all boys. Sadly for my wife. Sadly for my wife.
Yeah, I can imagine.
these sessions can be really interesting. Oh, by the way, you want to see something? Let me show you something really cool.
Do you guys provide the recordings also somewhere or
Yeah, yeah. So these sessions are recorded. We don't provide like the full session. We take like specific segments out of them,
no?
and we make them available. The first session of this, the first hour of this session is going to be made available fully because it's a different type of. It's kind of like a podcast thing.
Yeah.
Um, by the way, I want to show you something. Um, so over the course of the past few months, I've been analyzing the way agencies and companies use voice AI,
Okay.
and I realized something very, very interesting. So I identified like there are three stages of agentic voice. The way customers use it. So there's what I call stage one, which is the full stack orchestrator. This is your 11 Labs, retail, and VAPI. You got
Hmm.
a full-blown product, everything comes, fully integrated, and you just drag and drop things, you just prompt it, and that's it. Um, then you have what I call the second stage two is what I call the hybrid orchestrator. These are your live kit or your daily users. They build something a little more complex, something that is a little bit more integrated,
With
requires a little
coding.
bit more work in order to
Mm,
get done. So these are your SaaS builders. These are the guys who go out and build like a proper SaaS. Because when you
mm,
think about it, retail is originally based on LiveKit, although now they're moving to their own platform. They're building their own system now. Um, and then what you have is the third stage is basically the orchestrator ownership. It's like you're building your own orchestrator. You're
mm,
building
Yeah,
your own VAPI. You're building your own LiveKit.
yeah,
And these are like the three stages that I'm seeing, and it's really funny that I'm seeing these happen with retail and VAPI customers. You see a retail and VAPI customer go to VAPI, go to retail, they build their agent, and then at some point it becomes too expensive, so they say, okay, let's do it on LiveKit,
mm. Yeah,
yep,
and
yep.
then and
I've
then
heard
that
that too.
and that scales out, and that becomes too expensive, and then they said, oh, we need our own orchestrator.
Yep.
And when they reach between this point, stage two and stage three, actually already in stage one, everything that has to do with telephony is just badly done. All these platforms that just don't do telephony that good.
yeah, yeah.
And this is where we come in, and we identified the three stages. Actually, on Cloudonix, we have like four paths, but you can build all of them inside Cloudonix.
That is nice. If that's the case, because the price is the biggest issue.
Pricing is always an issue. It
Yeah,
is
of course.
always so. The nice thing about Cloudonix is that it turns your financials into something very predictable. You can calculate them really, really well using Cloudonix and to measure them. So it's something interesting that we're working on. There's some other stuff that we're working on. Um,
But if you really need to do something complex, there is no other way. It's really with Twilio, with Telnix, and with these simple systems, there is just no way to do it.
right.
Yeah,
So one thing I started working on. I started investigating it. It's something that I call a split horizon context. You know what that means?
split horizon context.
Split horizon context. It's
Mm,
basically so today, um, most agents are designed to have a conversation with one person only.
yeah.
Even when you do a transfer, it's not the same agent. It's a different agent calling the transfer target, the transfer destination, and converses with them independently, and then does the transfer. And split horizon context basically means having multiple copies of the same agent talking to multiple people while these agents share the same memory.
Oh,
So
that's very cool.
yeah, so a change that occurs on one of the conversations will automatically be reflected to another.
Okay,
Now
that
they're
sounds
all what?
really cool.
What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
I said that sounds really cool because that was a nightmare for me when I was doing this transfer and then asking the person, do you want to accept the call, blah, blah, to just transfer the data between these two agents. Oh
Right,
my God.
right. But when you do split horizon contexts, you end up in what's called race conditions. Race conditions occur when the memory or the information that was updated in one context or in one conversation needs to be reflected to the other conversations, but something happened and the other conversations
Mhm.
hadn't yet been made, aware of that change.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of issues there. I've been
Mm.
playing around with it, trying to build some very, let's say, workable POCs that can provide that kind of answer. I have something that managed to work.
Okay.
Can't say it's perfect. I can't say it's something that I feel proud showing because it does a lot of mistakes yet at this point. But it does show some promise. But
Well, you know what I noticed with AI? It's always like that at the beginning. You have a lot of mistakes, and then you just narrow it down with the time.
yes, but this is a little different. This is a little different because what I'm effectively trying to do, when you think about it, is this is gonna be a very horrible comparison. Uh I'm trying to take, let's say, five five kindergarten kids, put each kid into its own room, have a an adult sitting in every room talking to the child, and then in some form give information to all children at the same time so they can answer questions to these adults. Or anything that any child learns from any adult can be shared across all of the children at the same time. This is what I'm trying to do. And that is,
Yeah, that is difficult because you're dealing with kids.
it doesn't exist.
Yeah, you're dealing with
It
kids,
doesn't
but
exist at this point. So I'm doing a lot of it's basically a lot of trickery in terms of how the data needs to be traversed, and how can I traverse data that is fast enough? Because most
Okay.
people, what most people do is they use something like N8N, or they use
Mm,
Make, or they use Zapier or some other integration tool. And then there is no notion of a shared memory in those.
yeah.
So there are a lot
uh,
of there are a
isn't
lot of
there like the super base or what you call it?
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. I hate super bass too, man. I also hate it. It's like but you have the assistant one. It's kind of like there's an assistant in super bass and you can add documents and stuff, and supposedly that handles more of a better memory. But I also hate the super bass.
You know what the problem with Supabase is?
The chunking.
Nope. The problem is that nobody really understands how it really works inside the various vibe coding platforms.
No. You don't get all your context either. It always breaks things apart for some reason.
Because when I look at Supabase, from the outside, it looks to me like a MongoDB on steroids.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I think
I
a
mean,
Google Doc is even better than a Superbase.
yeah, but Supabase for me, like at least as I look at it, it seems a little bit like an unformatted document store that gives you some ability to have an AI integrate with it in an easy fashion, which
Yeah.
is great if you're building in a full-blown AI app. But it also means that it is incredibly slow.
hmm And then you have to pass it through another AI to be able to structure the information you got, and then
Right.
another one just to do something else, just to get that information out of the memory of
Right.
the chunks. And that is the weird part.
Right. So there are a lot of stuff in here. Um, there are so many questions that I'm currently, looking at it. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to devote myself into that research. But it is an interesting thing. And currently there's like nobody working on something like that. Um, I've been investigating, over the course, you know, I'd say I've been analyzing data points for the past 9 months from Vapi, Retail, 11 Labs, Synflow,
That is great.
Bland. I've analyzed data from their Discords and Slack channels and Twitter and whatever they have,
Mhm.
trying to understand like what are they doing, like what's going on, what's everybody's, what is everybody really suffering from, like
Yeah.
why are things, everybody wants it, but still everybody doesn't get it that good.
No.
And I started identifying like very interesting trends
What
of
can make it easier?
not so much to make it easier, but what I'm seeing is that I'd say 95% of the people, the users, end up with the same problems.
Yeah.
And what are those problems you think? If I have to say my problem with it is the hallucinations. You can prompt that into the thing if you're good at prompting, but I would think that having an internal checker, something that checks it internally. And yes, you can do the testing because retail has the evaluation part,
Mhm.
but why doesn't it automatically evaluate it? Like, hey, what if this happened? Hey, what if that happens? Right away,
Ah.
you know?
So you're using the retail workflow
Yeah,
tool.
if retail had an internal, you have those kind of prompt evaluator, or like let's say inside of retail, if it had something like I want to make a prompt for this website, and then retail itself, knowing how it should make a prompt, knowing all the different scenarios that can happen, it automatically makes that prompt for you instead of you having to go to ChatGPT that probably yes knows of about it because it's in its
Mhm.
system, but retail knows its own system better than ChatGPT. So
Yeah.
based on all the information it gathers from everyone else's problems, it
Mhm.
knows what the kind of problem can fill in, so it can fix that right away. That is what my problem is.
Mhm. I have a question for you. Are you a developer?
Actually, I'm a dad trying to get out of this. I work.
You're what?
I'm just a. To be honest, I came from a background that I stopped school at 13. I've worked in factories, never touched a computer until April, and
Got it.
AI was the one that taught me how to do all of this. So no.
Okay. So yeah, I gather that. I gather that. So I don't want to burst your bubble so much.
Do it. It's okay. That's what I'm here for. I want to learn.
Yeah. So you are looking at AI in a very romantic slash, I would say almost fantasy,
Yeah.
looking at it, the way you look at it.
Yeah.
And I get it. And I get it. Makes perfect sense. Um, there are, I'd say, mathematical constructs that you and anybody who wants to build agents the proper way and agents that work really well, there are various mathematical constructs that you need to learn and understand in order to make your agents very usable, or at
Okay.
least make them predictable in some form, because an AI is never is if it is one thing is unpredictable. It's
Yeah.
it's one of those things that really, you never really know why it does what it does.
Okay.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, my suggestion to you, you start working with the retail workflow builder, that tool that you go and drag and drop and all of that. Don't.
No.
No, just don't. You should actually start with the single prompt thing.
Yeah, that's the one I've started with. I haven't tried the workflow builder
Okay,
because
so
They said that that is good for to start when you're gonna do production, or but I'm starting small. I actually know I should start small.
I actually I don't like. I've seen several people that use the workflow builder. I think it's too slow. I find it incredibly annoying. It kind of like if you don't know if your agent is supposed to have some kind of very specific workflow, then it will do a nice job. But it is also going to be relatively slow.
That's true.
But if you understand the mechanics of how to prompt the agent properly, then a single prompt agent will work much better.
Okay.
And another thing is that a single prompt agent is something that has a very strict format. And if you understand that format, it can be applied to anything, to any type of agent,
And does
not
that have to
necessarily a
do
voice
with
agent.
does that have to do with the structure of the prompt?
Yes.
Yeah, but each structure should be a specific instruction for each one of the structures.
No. The overall structure of a prompt, at least from my experience, is very much identical. So you will have at the beginning your uh the objective. Okay, what is the purpose of this agent? What are you expecting it to do? What is its purpose? Who the agent is? What does it behave as? Like all of that. Then you have your the output definition. How do you expect to get information in what format, in what way? Now, if you're using, let's say, Chat GPT, then you'll say, I expect to get the output as a JSON object, as this, as that. But when you're working with an AI voice agent, your output actually defines how the agent constructs its response as is it funny? Is it friendly? Is it angry? Is it agitated? Like what is it how much creativity it should put into the conversation, into its response. And after that you've got your guardrails, like
What it shouldn't do.
what it shouldn't do, what it should never ever do, and if it ever does, you will punish it. And you should tell it that you will punish it.
Yeah, because yeah, I've heard those
I know it
saying.
sounds stupid, but it
Yeah,
is real.
but that's the same thing for the prompt injections. That's what people do to
Yeah,
get it to give the prompt injection.
right.
Fool it into it.
Right. And like the fourth part was is the actual work payload. Is what is it supposed to do? Where is the information it should be looking at? What should, what information is it allowed to work with? What do you expect it to do? What is the workflow? What information it should pay attention to? What it shouldn't pay attention to? And so on. And then, you can elaborate on that. But these are your four sections. These are your four parts.
Okay, so those four main parts makes a single prompt agent work perfectly. Not
Not so
perfectly,
much
but
perfectly. The
not perfectly, but
structure,
yeah, the structure.
the structure is the thing that makes it work. Whatever
Yeah,
you write in there and the other settings like the temperature and how it reacts to things, that these are the things that make it work right.
yeah.
Okay. And then the data that you provided. If it's on
That
retail, the knowledge base, if you're using an MCP server, access to the MCP, how does the MCP provide data? What data does it provide?
yeah. Especially for the knowledge base, I realized that it's better to make the agent use the knowledge base
Always.
instead of having because some people say, yeah, it's better to have the knowledge base in the prompt. I'm like, that builds up the token. So why
First of all,
would
it will build up the tokens anyway.
yeah, yeah, we build up the token, but you have less interruption when you separate the knowledge base to the prompt of what the agent should do,
Uh,
not? Yeah, it's AI, huh?
Eh,
It mixes everything in sometimes.
so what the knowledge base normally does is that when you upload things into the knowledge base, what it will actually do, it will turn your knowledge base, anything you upload into what's called a vector-based representation of that data. So
Okay.
an AI can read it, okay? But it means that you will use up tokens using that knowledge base regardless. That's number
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Number two is that depending on the size of your knowledge base, sometimes putting it in the prompt actually making sense, makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Here, I have a question for you. I don't know if you're working with retail or not, but what I experienced with the knowledge base is that agent just sometimes doesn't read it completely. So I am using a knowledge base for FAQs, and there are specific questions that need to really be answered like it says in database, right? For example, how much money I'm earning for this position if I'm using a recruiter agent, for example. He needs to provide the correct data, but it just doesn't take the whole knowledge base and use it. He just takes one chunk instead of three, for example.
I'm going to ask a different question. How is your knowledge base structured?
Well, it's structured in a simple markdown language, just question, answer. User asks this, you need to answer that. So it's really just simple as.
No, no, that is not a knowledge base. That should be done using an MCP.
Okay.
Okay.
A knowledge base is a little less structured, and you should use it in a way that. So think about it this way. Um, if you format your knowledge base in a question answer concept or
Hmm.
in a question answer format, the result will be that it cannot really vector the information properly
Okay.
because you have to remember the knowledge base doesn't really, it's not an agent that reads it and tries to, uh, why is there another note taker trying to come in? Uh,
Did that just happen because I clicked something just now?
oh yeah. Oh, you tried to put another note taker in.
Huh? Oh, wait, 1 minute. Let me see if that happens again. I'm gonna exit this and I'm gonna click it again now. Is it
Okay,
trying again?
let's see. Yeah,
Yeah.
note taker
No,
Josh.
no, not Joshua. I'm not Joshua.
You're not who's
No,
Joshua? So
I'm not
somebody's
Joshua.
joining. Uh, so actually, all these note takers, I need to actually decline them.
Yeah, you can decline mine. I don't really need it, especially if you're gonna have the. I just don't know how to deactivate it.
It's okay.
I got it since for a while now.
Yeah. So the thing is, I had a lot of people, coming in and registering and just put in their note takers and having their note takers. No, that's
Yeah,
kind of
they are not
pointless.
attending. Mhm.
No, I'm saying, people are joining and should, let's see. I wonder how many people actually are registered. Meetings. Uh, wow, there are over 150 people registered on the list. Um, so so when you work with a knowledge base, what actually happens is that I think, at least from what I saw. Hello, Niraj. How you feeling?
Good. How are you there?
I'm good. I'm good. Dude, like, why didn't you join us at AI Week?
I had something going on here, so yeah,
Yeah.
we're in the
Yeah.
middle of big rollout.
Yeah. So actually, guys, Niraj is going to be our guest. He's from Twins AI, and we're going to talk about Twins AI and so on. So he came in a little early. So actually, because of daylight savings and everybody, so both Renozo and Ivana, Ivana have been to previous sessions, and Renozo's like the first time I think he's with us. So they came in a little early because they're in Europe.
Okay.
So daylight saving time made everything a little nuts. And here's Matt's note taker. That means that Matt should be following his note taker at some point. And some of the guys, they'll be waiting for the other team. So before we go in on the yards, actually, Ivana and I were discussing something interesting. Are you familiar with Retail's knowledge base tool?
I've I've only heard about it, the company itself, but I haven't like looked into their knowledge-based tool.
Okay.
Probably the RAG implementation of
It's kind
sort
of
of.
like a RAG implementation, according to what I saw.
Hmm.
But I don't think it's really a RAG. I think it's what they actually do is they actually do vector embedding.
Okay.
I think they do a vector embedding because you upload a lot of PDFs and stuff, and it's like supposed to magically make it available. So to me it smells more like embedding.
Got it.
Uh, and um, and one of the questions that was raised when you embed data, should data be embedded in a form of question answer, question answer, question answer, or just as a whole bunch of data?
Yeah, I mean, this is a question. I think, in some use cases, probably question answer makes sense if you're doing, I mean, for us, for because we're doing qualifications, question answer probably makes sense because we disqualify a lot of folks for our agents. So in that sense, we have to be methodical of like if question one is answered, then depending on the answer, you need to like take another action. So,
Yeah,
and the volume of data also probably will be relevant in this case.
yeah. So if
When
I so
is what is short enough to be to that it has that they can go in the prompt, and what is large enough that I should add it to a database?
I mean, I'm talking about our case because we are a sales platform. So most of our data can go in prompt, or if they're not in prompt, we can do tool calling if we need to look up data for like, from the database or anything like that, we can just look it up during a live conversation.
What kind of tool do you guys use? Init and make or
No,
anything
it's just a tool
Python?
calling directly from code to the API, um, to HubSpot or any of the data sources that we have. We can just call directly during a conversation.
So,
Okay.
I
Go
think
ahead.
these questions are more, specific to Twins AI
Yeah,
platform. So I want to wait a little bit till we get some other people to come in. It's still
Yeah.
2 minutes in. People sometimes take a little bit more time. I know I want Niraj to do this, in a little bit more organized fashion. So the idea is going to be that potentially, I guess, Niraj has a presentation that he wants to show or to show the
it's
actual tool in work
yeah.
as it
I mean,
works.
I can do like a basic tooling. Uh, Zoom is difficult because you can't hear the our
Yeah.
the phone call. That's why voice is a little tricky to demonstrate.
Every time I do a Zoom or if you think a Zoom is horrible, that the Google Meet is even worse. So that is like that's a disaster.
Yeah, we'll try it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, here's a cool thing that None of the other AI platforms can do what you can do with Cloudonix, pretty much. So when I showed it to somebody, he was like, okay, that's a problem." So all the various AI platforms out there, Vapi, Retail, doesn't matter, they cannot do transfers from their web widgets.
Hmm. Interesting.
They can. They can't do it. You know why? Because all of their transfers are either based on refers, and their web widgets don't have a SIP session.
Exception. Okay, got it.
Okay. And if you want to do a warm transfer, again, you can't do it because usually need the inbound number for that.
Yeah.
But if you can use Cloudonix's web widgets and web SDKs in order to reach the same connectivity as if a normal phone call, but from the web. And
Oh,
then
that's
all the
interesting.
transfers can actually work. Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. So
Hello,
That
guys.
yeah,
that
I
is
need to show you guys. I need to create a webinar on how to do that. That's actually pretty cool.
that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome. So,
Hello, guys.
hey Mohammed, how you
Hi,
doing?
Mohammed.
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, man?
Good. Hey
Act-
Giovanni,
Hello, hello.
Helio or Silva? What is it? What it is? Which it is? Helio or
He-
Silva?
Hello, hello.
So, by the way, guys, if you got a camera, please open your camera. It's a lot nicer where everybody, knows who they are, and the idea is also to create a community and so on.
no,
Uh, we don't hide behind black boxes. uh,
exactly.
it's no longer COVID days, where everybody was sitting at home and like you were sitting. My kids were in school, they were learning remotely, and suddenly the teacher was in, like everybody's like black boxes. Like the entire class is black boxes. Come on. Hey
Hmm.
man, how you doing, man?
Me? I'm nice. Thank you. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. Matt, how you
Sorry.
doing? Your mic is still muted or you're stuck. Whatever. And Lamar, first time here and right? Lamar, are you with us? Okay, so we're 5 minutes, 6 minutes in. I think we can start. Okay, guys. So, this session started a little bit earlier, so to speak, because of daylight savings and clocks moving around the world and things got a little confusing. But never mind. That's actually pretty cool. And I'm happy it
It's a,
happened.
it's
Sorry?
actually it's actually 2 a.m. in the morning right now at my place.
2 a.m. in the morning.
And where are you,
Wow.
Oh,
Mohammed?
sorry.
Where are you located?
I am located in India right now.
India.
Where?
Okay.
In India. Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Considering, yeah, makes sense. So, okay. So we're literally spanning the globe. We have Niraj is in the U.S., right?
Yep, I'm in New Jersey,
In New Jersey.
East
Awesome.
Coast.
Awesome. We got Muhammad in India, and we got Ivana, who's currently, as I recall, in Germany, Austria. Correct me, right? And Giovanni is in Italy, right?
Yes, yes, in Milan.
In Milan. Wow, I hadn't been to Milan in ages. Like really, I actually
You're
used to.
welcome. You're welcome.
Well, I actually lived there for 6 months. Uh,
Ah,
yeah, had a little flat on the Corso de Buenos Aires.
okay.
Um,
Nice.
and Reynoso, I have no idea where he's from. Matt is in Texas, as far as I recall. And Helio, where are you from?
I'm from Brazil.
Brazil. Wow. And I'm from Israel, so we're literally spanning the entire globe. We're like in 10 different time zones. Awesome. This is like really this is the essence of like creating these communities. So some of you already been to these sessions. We're changing them a little bit. So once a month, we're going to do a session where we will invite somebody from a different company to come and present what they do and share their know-how, share their journey into this. We're going to try to keep it very, very technical. We don't want this to be, all fluffy, salesy, and so on, because the idea is to teach and the idea is to learn from everybody else. And today we're doing it for the first time. Awesome. So we've got here Niraj. Niraj, we met. So Niraj is the CTO, right?
Yep.
Of Twins AI, and we met Twins AI over at AI Week in New York like 3 weeks ago. We met with Niraj's partner and with David
Daniel.
and Daniel. Sorry, my bad. I have like I'm talking to like four different people. I got a David, I got a Daniel, I got an Andrew, and I got like they're all something with a D, and I'm horrible with names.
Yeah.
It'll take me at least 3, 4 times. Hi, Chris. And basically, as far as I can recall, Twins AI we saw it at AI Week. It was really interesting. Daniel was actually talking at our event at Pace University. And that Daniel's previous company went through ERA, which is an accelerator in New York, and we're also ERA alumni.
We're a part of the ERA in this cohort. I mean, the last
Oh, in
cohort.
this cohort already, yeah.
Last cohort.
That's cohort. Yeah, so that was we didn't know that.
Okay.
Only after we talked, which was pretty cool. And we saw Twins AI. So Twins AI is focused on outbound, cold calling, outbound sales. Correct me where I'm wrong, Niraj, right?
But I can do a brief intro after.
But
Okay.
I'll let Niraj take over and show what he's got, because I think that what they do is pretty cool, and we can learn a lot from them. So, Niraj, over to you. I'm going to shut up now because I've been talking too much.
All right. Hi, everybody. It's all nice to see you. My name is Niraj Shah. I'm the co-founder and CTO at Twins AI. So at Twins AI, we do actually both inbound and outbound call with AI. So what that means, it's a sales tool that can do outbound calls with AI, and it can also answer any inbound call. So in inbound calls, the examples would be somebody is calling to get some information. We have a lot of real estate companies that are using us, so they can call in and say, hey, tell me about this property or that property, or can I schedule a meeting and things like that. So they're calling in, and then it can do like basic tasks, schedule an appointment, give you more information about your property, give more information about their companies and so forth, right? That's like one part of it. And the second part of it is basically outbound, so that we clone a salesperson's voice. So when you're calling, my AI twin is calling, not me calling, but someone will just call and do the basic conversation. And if they're a qualified lead and they're interested to talk to you, anybody can jump in right in the call, during the call. So that's the second part. And the third part is Sales Copilot. What that means is while you're having a conversation, so let's say if you're doing a sales call and it's a pretty complicated sales, you've talked to this person a few times, and then you need to remember what you said about your sales process before the call. So what we have, we call him a conversation card. So while you're on the phone, the agent will basically say, okay, you've talked to this person so many times. Here is the background on this person. And now you should start saying this versus that. And if you're going and talking about some random stuff, it will start complaining about you're out of course. You need to get back to like what you were selling, try to understand their pain points, try to understand, where they are in their buying process and so forth. So it kind of helps you go through the journey of sales. So it's 100% kind of designed for sales folks to basically call automatically and then get to the next stage of sales. And we have basic general integration with all the CRM, Salesforce, HubSpot, and so forth. So in terms of CRM, basically once you have all this conversation, all of this conversation, transcription, summary, this call disposition, they all get logs into Salesforce so they can continue with the rest of their kind of business. So we basically automate the entire sales dialing process and inbound process for sales purpose. And then we do some data, enrichments and things like that. So if you call the US number, we'll already know who you are and kind of say, hey, Nir, we talked about this so and so long ago, and let me help you with the next step.
I
So
have
that's
that
a
like
basic general description about our platform. I can give you a quick demo of how it looks as well. And then we can do a like Q&A, and I can deep dive into like some of the technical what technologies do we use and how we do this.
okay, perfect. Like you're talking about that stuff that we already calling a number and we already know about like who they are and the information. A tool was there like called AirCall. They were using that similar kind of technologies. I used that tool. Like I was working as a sales rep for a company. Like we were dialing in Australia, so
Yeah,
every number, yeah, the number we pulled from our data list, it was the single number, and it used to pull up the informations from maybe like Google or something like that, and used to feed that into a CRM. Like,
yeah. Similar technology. Basically, we have one in US. So, you when you call, it'll look in the CRM first, and if you can't find it, it'll go to an external source saying,
mhm.
hey, this is, like this number looks like Muhammad. Let me get some information where Muhammad, it's like a background information where he works and so forth. And when somebody picks up the phone, you kind of will know like who they are.
Yeah, awesome. So we can straight away like dive into the demos, and then we can just see what the tech stack that you're using right now. And one more, like I have a query. I was trying to set up like AI receptionist in my like domain for like some dental agency. So I need a little bit work around about all that as well. So I DM'd Near regarding that Wabi is not like getting me worked on, and he like it's a different username on Discord. Do you remember, dear?
You have to be more specific.
Like I called about like my call is not being transferred.
Wow, that is like I get like 15 to 25 of these questions on a daily basis.
Oh, fool me.
You have to be more specific. So,
No worries, no worries. Let's keep moving.
so transfers, let's not talk about transfers because I want to give Niraj the stage to show Twins AI. Before we dig in for a second, Niraj, so one thing that is really interesting, specifically for me on one hand, but I'm confident the other people here are also interested to hear, is that what is the Twins AI stack? What does it look like? Because we're seeing a lot of SaaS AI services, potentially similar, dissimilar, with some, overlaps. And they're all either using actually this is something we discussed previously before you came in. They're using one of the either the full stack orchestrators or a hybrid orchestrator approach or their own orchestrator. So how is Twins AI built? What makes Twins AI tick? Don't tell us all the secret sauces, but definitely what we're interested in, like, how did you go about building that thing?
Well, we used a mixed of, or we're like, of course, like everybody's using foundational model, right? So basically, OpenAI and Gemini, and we have like pretty much all the models that we can either switch during the conversation or based on what we're trying to do, right? On the foundational model. Then we have an orchestration model, and we tried like everything from VAPI to PipeCat, and we have our own instrumentation layer, and because Daniel and I kind of both worked in our previous generation, I built a no-code platform called PandaFlow, which is connected to everything to like SaaS platforms and so forth. So in doing that, we have a lot of experience in building the instrumentation layer. And with the current state of voice AI, the instrumentation layer kind of needs to be a little bit, it's like a little bit all over. You have to kind of combine different types of services. So we have our own instrumentation layer. And in terms of voice, we use 11 Labs, Cartesia, and there's like a bunch of open source also, but our main for the sales purpose, because of the speed, right now we see 11 Labs and Cartesia as like the top two models, and we just like are switching around with Sonic 3 on Cartesia. So that's the voice model we use, and then we use various other models for voice detection, interruptions, and things like that. So they're kind of mixed in. We're kind of custom built for some of them. Um, for transcription, we have different cases. Sometime we'll use Twilio, sometime we'll use DeepGram, sometime we'll use Gemini, because we have a summary, we have end of call, we have in call, we have pre-call. So based on where we want, we basically connect to all these data sources. And in call is a little different because it's live conversation. So we need the transcription live. So we need a little bit faster latency. So in that case, we use a Twilio transcription. And end of call, we have multiple. Sometimes we'll use Gemini and sometimes we'll use OpenAI, depending. And they're always like kind of like going, making them better. And we can switch them at any point that we like.
So
Well, yeah.
So just a second. So if I'm hearing, I'm trying to, compile everything that you just
Yeah.
said. So you have your own orchestration layer that you created. You're not using LiveKit or PipeCat at this point in time.
No, we're not using like that. We
And you're
are
also
using some of Vappy.
so you're using some of Vappy at this
Mhm.
point. So I would say that Vappy is like your front end agent. That is the thing that actually answers the call. And then your orchestration is actually whatever happens afterwards. Like all the magic that happens either after the call or before the call or when the
Before
call
the
gets
call.
or when the call gets handed over to a human agent to continue the
Or
call
during the call as
or
well.
during the call itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a very interesting, use case because it's very, very different.
Yeah.
Because what most people, most people, businesses and agencies do is like they hand over the work to the agent completely. And when it will need to transfer, it's like saying, okay, I'm going to transfer over only a fully cooked, lead. But in your case, it's actually the digital twin starts
Yeah.
talking to the agent, then brings in the human agent to take over without even the
Exactly.
person realizing that,
Exactly. And the reason we can do it is because it like kind of dials out with my voice. I mean, it's not perfect today. Like Sonic is getting super close to my voice, but like when we get onboarded, you train your voice. So near, you'll have your own agent. Muhammad's gonna have your own agent, and they start talking like you. You have like your, excitement and things like that. It kind of learns a little bit. It's still I would say it's still robotic, but it tries to learn all of your nuances of how you talk. And then when he dials out or when he even answers the phone, it will kind of answer in your voice. You have the option to either uh, uh, um, answer in your voice or in the AI voice as well. And there are some regulations in US that you cannot really do fully automated outbound calls. You always have to have a person for
yeah.
various, like we don't want to go into deep into regulations, but there are some laws that you cannot really automate 100%
We can talk
with
about these
outbound.
afterwards. I have a whole bunch of, I got a book on those.
Yeah. Somebody had a
Um,
question here, I think.
yeah. So let's see. So Helio is asking, how long does it usually take your team to deploy a solution for a new client? What industries or environments have you worked with so far? Helio, question, where is that question directed to
To
Niraj
me?
or to who exactly?
Sorry. So it's directly to the Cloudonix.
Okay, so this is a question about
Still.
Cloudonix. Let's keep that aside.
Yeah.
But
Just
after Niraj's session,
keeping
so
our
we
minds.
don't get
Sorry.
derailed. Matt, you raised your hand, so I guess you got a question.
Yeah, absolutely. So nice to meet you, Niraj.
Hey,
I'm
Matt.
curious. So in your stack, I noticed that you hadn't mentioned Cloudonix yet. And so I'm curious to figure out or to learn, or I'm wondering, when you learned about Cloudonix, what was the particular problem or issue that you were excited that you think Cloudonix will solve?
Matt, full disclosure. So Twins AI are at this point still not using Cloudonix. We met them
Yeah.
at AI Week, so that's number one.
Sure.
There are a lot of things that we can help them. Niraj and I are gonna discuss that regardless. But let's not, I don't want, Cloudonix is not the topic here at this
Sure.
at this
Sure.
part of the session.
Sure.
It's Twins AI, so I'd like to focus on that. And Niraj, one of the things you mentioned was the training of the agent
Mm-hmm.
to clone the human agent. Can you show us how that is done on your platform? Because that is always an interesting thing to me. I've seen a lot
Yeah,
of cloning
it's
tools, but this is an interesting part.
so we have let me see if I can share my screen here. Why don't I see share screen? Oh, share here. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep. Here we go.
Okay. You can see both of them, right? So this is our backend. So what happens? Let me show you what actually happens when you're actually cloning and on a sign up. So what actually happens is, so I'm just going to do here now. And anybody, you guys are welcome to sign directly on our platform to get a full experience here.
Will I get a credit for that?
You will get, huh? So let's say, actually, this might take it too long for me. Let me just do it quickly. So 6, 8. I'm just not gonna do. So what happens? The next step is interesting. So here is what happens, right? So next step an AI will interview you about yourself, what you do for the company, how long you've been in the company, and so forth. So she will adapt based on your answers, like what to ask in order to learn your voice. So basically during the onboarding, we will just interview you as if you're kind of going to a job interview or like introducing yourself about your company, about your services and things like that. And the next step, we'd automatically clone your voice. And then when you log in from the back end and you start dialing, it will start dialing from your voice. And I don't know if I can actually show you here. Hold on, let me see if you can hear the interviewer. Can you hear the voice?
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Can you hear
able to
the voice?
No, you can't. We cannot hear her.
Yeah, so this one is not. If he's just basically answering, like asking me a question in a voice. As you can see in the transcription, like what she is asking me about. I'm good, Sarah. How are you?
That's Niraj, that's because when you share the tab on Zoom, you have to share with audio. There's a very little small tab.
Okay, let me just see if I can do that. Share sound. Here we go.
Yeah.
Actually, where did I put it? Yep.
I have to admit, I never noticed that little flag.
Yeah. Let's see if I can. Actually, I can go in my backend and then start here. I can impersonate. So Let me see. Can you? Let me see if you guys can hear it.
Hey, Niraj.
Can
This
you
is
hear?
Sarah, and I'll be
Yeah.
asking
Yes.
you a few questions in order to train your twin today. Are you ready to begin?
I'm ready to begin, Sarah. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How about you? How's your day going so far?
It's going wonderful. I am live demoing you on a Cloudonix webinar.
Oh, that sounds exciting. A live demo during a webinar must be pretty engaging. How's the audience responding so far?
Audience is thrilled. She is super excited to see you.
That's fantastic to hear. I'm glad the audience is enjoying the demo. It sounds like a great opportunity to showcase what Twins AI can do. Shall we jump into the interview questions?
Sure, let's go ahead.
Great. To start, can you tell me a little bit about what your company does?
Yeah, Twins AI is an AI calling platform that does both inbound and outbound calls to help the sales. So you get the idea. I don't want to go through this. So basically, even on 30 seconds thing, it will learn about my voice, about my like how I speak and so forth. So you just go through the step, you sign up, and then at the end of the sign up, your account gets created, right? So I'll just turn if I can. Just give me 1 second here. And then you go into back end and then basically start dialing. And I'm going to show you quickly the back end, our back end here, and show you how that actually works. Does anybody have like a US number?
I do.
Okay, I can call you here.
Let's see. Try calling 347.
1 second, let me just add you here. Near, right?
Right.
347
348
348
2634.
2634. That's correct. 347 348 2634. So basically we have, it's a pretty standard SaaS app. We have an auto dialing where you can like select a number to dial. Then we have a concept of agent, like how are you dialing it? And I'll show you a brief introduction on assistants. So assistant are a trained voice agent that can answer about your company, about your services. So I basically come in and say, okay, this is my inbound agent and outbound agent. What happens? Who speaks first? This is my initial message. This is my prompt. Because we are sales oriented, we just go through like frequently asked questions about our company, and like basically different prompts. And then what happens, and then and then here are some interesting ways we use prompting. So in sales, you have to collect information. So what CRM are you using? How many salespeople do you have? And so forth, in order to kind of gather sales information. So we have this info gathering prompt where it will just basically ask one by one, all these questions that you need to take your sales to the next level, and then configure other voicemails and what needs to happen after the post call actions. So in this call, I'm I'm interested to learn what CRM they're using and how many salespeople are there in this conversation. So when I call, it will kind of adapt to my prompt and start talking. And then we have basic, testing of the prompt and so forth. So the idea here, and then we have an inbound agent, right? So inbound is a number gets assigned. So if you call on that assigned number, the AI will just answer it. And if you want to talk to a person, you say, "Hey, I'm not happy with how you're answering. Please let me talk to a human agent," and then it'll automatically transfer to a human agent as well if it's an inbound call. But if it's an outbound, I have to select, okay, I'm using an outbound agent, and I'm going to call my list, which is, like I have a list of people that I need to call. I think you might be on this list here somewhere. Okay, so here you're a list here. So instead of calling everyone, I can just call you yourself, and then it will start dialing you. I don't know if you got the call.
Let's see.
Is that ringing or no?
No, not yet.
Let me see if I put in the number correctly. Let me check your number again. Maybe I didn't put in. 347-348.
2634. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, like if that was the number, it would have. Let me just dial with a new number here.
Can we dial outside the US as well?
In some countries we have a limited because we've gotten some spams, people just dialing some random numbers, so we just kind of blocked it for the most part.
Okay,
You can,
awesome.
of course, from our system you can, but you have to like I have to set it up to.
Let's see. Maybe this will work. Oh, there we go.
Hey, Nir, this is Niraj from.
Hello.
I think it's gonna take
Oh,
over
it's on.
my.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Still with me? Let me know when you're ready to pick things up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now I heard him. It was on my Bluetooth.
No problem at all. I'm here to help. If you have any questions about Twins AI or how it can boost your sales productivity, feel free to ask.
Yeah, I have to admit that's not bad, but
So let me just
switch over to you.
You know, once you were like in the conversation, I can just pick up now. Now you're talking to me instead of AI. So what he's doing is like I pick up. It's very hard to like kind of do a demo on here. So what happens, as you can see on my screen, it will tell me like, okay, you were in the conversation with Nir. Now here's the quick tip. You were here. Now this is what you need to tell Nir about your. And if you were in my CRM, it'll grab all that information about you, what our conversation was last time, and I can just kind of have the conversation after picking up as if like I was continuing the AI conversation with you.
So so I'm looking at the experience.
Yeah.
So from where I'm sitting. So here's what I'm seeing, and correct me if I'm seeing something wrong.
Sure.
So when the call goes out to the customer, it's not going out direct. It's not going out from Vappy.
No, it's using Twilio.
It's using Twilio, and
Yeah.
the call goes into a conference room. Then you're bringing Vappy into that conference room.
Correct.
So this is why when you switch from the agent to the human agent, it's a seamless switch. It's not really a transfer.
Yeah, in this outbound call, it's not a transfer. We have a separate transfer for inbound, like it will complete
Right.
transfer. In this case, I'm just a human takeover.
Right.
Like, so in you know, if right now I don't have the parallel dialing set up, so I can dial 3 or 4 people and I can see the sentiment of where I need to jump in. I can jump into that call based on that sentiment of that call. So I can jump around in multiple calls, and if I'm satisfied, if I've answered all the questions, I can invite back the AI and you'll continue the conversation also.
Got it. So
She's pretty seamless to add human.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to go through it in my head. So this is Matt knows this face. This is the face of me, more or less.
Deep thought.
Analyzing the workflow. So correct me if I got it right. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see if I get it right. So there's an outbound call being generated out of Twilio. that call, this is how I would do it. Okay. That call will automatically create 1, 2, 3 new unidirectional streams of the connected party into 3 different systems. One will do a transcription, one will do a sentiment analysis, one will do a diarization of the call. Then it will put it into a conference call and bring in the VAPI agent. Then, if a switchover is required, the human agent will switch over as required. But you're using the unidirectional stream in order to analyze whatever the customer is saying in real time to be able to tell the human agent, beep, 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 pay attention, someone needs your attention in here.
Correct. More or less is the same thing, like there's some like like things that we do pre-call, post-call,
Yeah.
but overall is the concept is the same, multi-channel. Sometimes we use like different channels to do audio transcription, things like that. But the concept, the overall concept to describe is pretty,
That's pretty cool.
It's very close to what we do. And we have a whole infrastructure that on Google, so that it has all kinds of sockets and things like that we use, but like more or less like you're in the ballpark of how we do it today.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then
you and I need to sit down and I need to show you some stuff.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'd love to.
Don't take that
Definitely.
offline. Okay.
Yeah, somebody, Muhammad, you had a hand
Yeah.
up for a little while, so we're gonna keep going and like not answering your question. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so I was asking about like the tech stack. The Neil got my question before that, and the second question I forgot because it took you too long to like focus on me.
Sorry about it.
So
Yeah, no
for
worries.
now,
Yeah, I think you got all the tech stack, right? So our infrastructure is like all on GCP. Like basically we use everything Google because we got tons of credit on Google. So during our ERA, and then we are just using everything we can on Google in order to use our credit for the first year.
oh yeah, I got it. For like example, like you using Twilio for like dialing in
Telephony.
sessions. Yeah, exactly. And then you were just integrating you were just removing the agent from the call, and you were just continuing with the call right now. Okay,
Correct.
That's how it works. So the agent part is a temporary part. So as soon as you dial, you are the one who's dialing on the number, and the agent is just doing the summary for your prospect.
Well,
All that stuff.
it also chatted with Nair in the beginning. So before I jumped in, the agent was chatting, and I can just let it go. I don't have to like jump in. I only jumped in because the person was interested in it and I could help him right away. But the agent could just go and help Near out and book meetings and do whatever you want and then hang up, no problem. We can do that. But because he needed some kind of help, I could jump into that call and then help him and then invite back my agent to continue the work. Does that make sense?
Got it. So for
That's
now,
for the demo purpose, yeah.
for now, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, and you can forward with another person. So if I have any question, I'll be back. Okay.
Okay. Guys, come on. So Matt, I have a question.
How do you cue the human and the agent? What are the queuing or responses that the human looks for? Or is it just general sentiment during a conversation?
Just a general sentiment of like becomes red, green, yellow, and what have you. In this case, you can also keep listening. Like ours is actually not just a web or a desktop application. So you dial the desktop application gets minimized, and if person is on, then it'll like switch over to the full mode, and you can just go on to the call. So we have both desktop and web app.
Okay.
So, Raj, correct me if I'm wrong, but Twins AI as a platform is like a full-blown replacement for the various
calls. Yeah, it's a
the
full-blown
digidials,
replacement for
so on.
air call, like open phone. I mean, it's a full system basically, right? I mean, I'm going to try to show you a desktop versions of it as well, but you know, the desktop allows you to integrate with your CRM, LinkedIn, and things like that. So it's a full-fledged phone system that is highly integrated with your CRM system.
Right.
And specifically geared towards salespeople. Like this is a sales machine, so to speak, right? So we're not doing customer. So I mean, although the platform is capable of doing customer service and things like that, but we're like 100% focused on how we can like optimize sales process inbound and outbound, like so highly optimized for sales.
Yeah, Mohammed, do you have a question?
Yep, exactly. So as you're saying that you were completely focusing on science people, so in demo, I noticed that it sounded like most of the time robotic. So it was like following the conversations like that. But I have been a sales rep myself. Like the sales call has been like it's a 4 second to 10 second window where the prospect decides whether to talk or something. Like if you give them good opening or something like that. So how are you gonna fix that problem? And the second question is, Go High Level is like providing much better solution to that. And I'm very curious, like how are you gonna deliver on the level of Go High Level, and how are you gonna solve that problem for like 4 second window?
So that is like a very good question. So what happens for the most sales guys? Like once they do the introduction, they usually pick up. Like they don't want to lose that thing, right? But what we're trying to say is like how they are answering it and how interested they might be. So if we can detect it in the 4 or 5 seconds, they can let it either go to the AI assistant or pick up. So that's what like the optimization is. Like most salespeople will not let, if they pick up and they're even remotely interested, they will pick up the phone and try to sell. That's for the outbound. But for the inbound, you can do it any way you want, right? So inbound is informational or sales or customer service, and you can just optimize your prompt for inbound. And most of the inbound use cases that we've seen is either like kind of a general information about your company or like kind of scheduling a meeting to see a demo. So those are the two use cases that we've seen the most. And you know, and in our case, we have a lot of real estate, so they do like house showing and things like that. So they call in and say, "Give me the information about this house, and can I see this house and so on so date?" And you'll do all the scheduling, and all the calendars are connected directly to them. So that part. So if they are like kind of busy with the customer, they can let the AI answer and schedule a meeting for them. For the most part, it will, the AI will do the job for the inbound. For outbound, after the introduction, they usually will pick up.
Exactly. So that completely makes sense for the inbound, but I'm still like confused on the outbound part. Like if I dial, you told me that I would be sitting on 3 to 4 calls concurrently, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a human. I'm supposed to make mistake every single time that I try to dial 3, 4 numbers, okay? Because it's very hard to keep track of that. If I'm a sales rep, I want to focus on every single person, like for like the next 10 seconds, what he's gonna say. If he's gonna be interested, I'm gonna take up the call. If he's not gonna be interested, I'm gonna just drop it to the AI assistant and let it be, okay?
Yeah.
So if you're saying how many numbers we can dial concurrently right now at like
right now, you like in our system, you dial so fast you can't dial more than 2 or 3, but you can technically dial 10 or 20. but like because of the sales process, usually people only dial like 2 maybe. Because sometimes both of people will like kind of, the idea there is like in the cold calling, out of maybe 100, only it's like 10 people are kind of even picking up the phone, right? So you're going through the motion. So it's basically the parallel dialing is for speed of connection to like a lot of numbers versus the actual talk time. So that's what it's optimized for, to dial hundreds of numbers within hours, So in a regular call, you can get like 90 calls, 90 dials per hour. But Twins AI, you can probably dial like 300-400 within an hour.
Okay, got it. Like, for example, we're doing a power dialing sessions and we have
Power
like
dialing, yeah,
500.
exactly. It's like literally just power dialing session. You can in this demo, I have the power dialing, but you can just enable your power dialing, parallel voicemail. That means if it goes to voicemail, it's not gonna wait for that person to like leave the voicemail. The machine's gonna just leave the voicemail, and you can jump on to the next call.
Yeah, exactly. We can provide like a personalized voicemail
Correct.
system prompt to it. Like if you have this person's name, his
Yep.
number, his number, his email, or maybe his company's information, leave a
Yep.
customized voicemail to him in our personalized voice. Like we do this and just call us back and do this and do that. We
Yep.
have your son in our custody. Just call us back.
Exactly. You can customize, right? You have like different fields. Like you can say, hey, Muhammad, we talked on this day. You can put a date, and then you can see we talked about this. You can put a company. So you can kind of mail merge your information from within the CRM and leave that voicemail. So it's very personal of what they're talking, just not like just a regular voicemail.
Exactly. Exactly. Like for me, like I have been a sales rep and I have been completely using air call. I
Yeah.
would like to put forward the features I liked about the tool, and the features that I'm most confused about is worst feature is I like the power dialing session. If like I
Yeah.
have 500 numbers, I could just push the data into it and say to like dial 500 numbers. But
Yeah.
I would like try to keep the concurrency for 2 numbers at a time. Like I want to
Yeah.
focus, I want to listen. In 5-10 seconds, I can decide this call is going to be worth it or this call is not going to be worth it. Okay. So I would like to keep that in like 2 concurrency, not more than 2. That would be harmless for me. And if like I have 2 prospects at the same time, I would be juggling between them or something like that. I could be losing a deal, you know. So
Usually in the US you can't really do that. So the rule is like if the person wants to talk to person, you have to hang up the other guy.
yeah,
Just be so you know, so there are some rules that we have to abide by, but you know, technically it's possible to do that, but in reality there will probably just be like 2 or 3 sessions.
exactly. And I can see in the future that it would be mandatory for the person to mention that this is an AI
An
generated
AI
call.
call, yes,
Yeah, they will
correct.
like enforce this law because the AI is becoming too good in replicating voices. And the second confusing part is like for a sales rep right now, you are completely dependent on like open source models and other providers for that initial hook and grabbing. So I'm very curious about like how are you going to solve that problem? Are you like going to go for
We are
some?
getting a tons like this voice data is so fragmented today. Like not everybody has voice data in their center. So we are collecting tons of voice data. What is a good sales call? Like what is a good cold call? What is a good like a closing session? You know, all the data, we have all that data recorded today, right? And we anonymize it and we're trying to build our own model for very specific tags about sales. So, you know, sales and cold calling, what is a good call? So we're learning from all these people dialing into our system, right? You know, and when and what, what's a city or what time, what is a good sales opening and things like that. So we don't have enough data to do like the model yet, but the idea there is like we have enough voice data and sales data that we can train a smaller prompt that can it's a small model that can work together with the big models like that. So that is the ultimate goal for us. We're not there yet today, but we
Yeah,
have tons and tons of voice data now on various different kind of you know, verticals, you know, real estate and SaaS and things like that. So how is the sales process goes? What is a good cold opening? What is the second call? What is the third call? How to close? How to ask questions? All of this data we're collecting so that we can build a model and then basically apply that.
yeah,
So
awesome,
that is
awesome.
our ultimate goal for us to you know, like because of the data that we have.
Do you use
Exactly.
any of
But
the data during onboarding, Niraj?
So, could you say
When
that?
you, so I noticed during the onboarding, you are the bot asks questions.
Yeah.
And is the bot asking the questions purely to clone the voice?
Correct.
Or are the answers
just to clone the voice today. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep, exactly. Like the training part or the model part can be a whole different business in itself. Like
Yeah.
you can provide APIs to different companies and give
Não,
access to them.
que eu entrei numa reunião aqui, calma aí.
I'm sorry.
Marion just says something. Nobody understand what you said.
Yeah.
Mic is on.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay, no
so
worries.
that, you know, that's our ultimate goal. I mean, you know, we for us, so, and we are looking at it like every day, how we can do that.
Got it. That's perfectly awesome that you're trying out. And right now you're saying that you're working with different companies. That means your model is working. And I'm pretty interested in that as like I'm also a sales rep and I want to have leverages of saving my time and dialing multiple numbers. Like if I can dial 1,000 number a day, that is a plus point for me, you know?
Yeah.
It saves me time and it's like
It makes you more money.
Yeah, exactly. Typically, it does not make me more money on the front end, but I have to still do the back end work. But it saves me time, you know?
Yeah. There's like a lot of time saving, right? We have call center, like, you know, basically they're just like the front lines of saying, because we have you know, a couple of insurance companies doing it, so they will call and you know, ask for Medicare or whatever. So there's a lot of qualification that needs to happen before they can even transfer that call to like an insurance agent. So the AI just basically goes through like top 5 or 6 questions that need to have an affirmative answer before they can go into the like insurance agent. So AI will just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if all of them are affirmative, then do X. You know, those kind of logic is very being used in on our platform.
Exactly. Like there's a bank in India right now. Neeraj, when is the last time that you visited India?
Me or Near?
You.
Me, I went to school in India back in the 90s, so I haven't been there since.
No worries. So there's a bank in India known as HDFC Bank. They're like integrating these voice inbound systems in their IVRs. Like when I call them, they have their AI agent, and we are like forced to answer questions and all that stuff straightly to that AI agent, and we're not like strictly allowed to like talk with a real person until and unless the issue is very real. So AI agent that like in the short term, it is like getting a hit on their customer service, but in the long term, they're gathering the data and they're training their models as well. So maybe it's gonna like I have been seeing it implemented on the ground as well. So it's like a pretty booming business in the future.
Apparently after the coding agents, Lovable and all those guys, I think the enterprise voice agent is apparently the second fastest growing, apparently. But we haven't seen that yet on our platform.
You know, that's an
yeah, but I can see like the most leverage is for the small businesses, like the enterprise work. Yeah, the enterprises, they have their own workforce to deploy. Like I have also worked as a customer support executive for Amazon. They still have thousands and thousands of employees, but after like having these models, like they still have the chat models on the back end. And you know what we do as Amazon employees? We sometimes follow unethical ways to like give them refund. So a chat model cannot do the human thinking. If you know, if someone has like a refund query and we have like a different product from him that is a $10 or equivalent, we just go grab that refund and refund for the existing product and lie to them that we have refunded to you. That's how it works. So in Amazon, but a chat model cannot do that. So we are still a far more for the customer service. Where it can be used is for the small enterprises to pick up the calls, receptionist, and all that stuff.
Yeah, we
But
have like
in
all these like smaller from trucking company to moving companies to real estate. Like there's all these guys like they have to pick up the phone at all hours of the time, and then the AI just like picks up and takes all the information, whatever they need to do, and then they go on about their business.
exactly. So thank
Yeah.
you very much for the demo.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and I hope to see you like succeed in your life, like making it a big company.
I hope so too. I mean, that's success is, it's
You
it's
know,
always a question mark in startup.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
one of the things that most people don't really realize about using voice agents is that a lot of the small business owners look at voice agents and think, I'm going to offload, everything to my voice agent. It'll do everything. And that's kind of like a very, you know, I call it a romantic view of things
Yeah.
because it will never happen, at least not in the next 5 years, simply because we're not there yet. Um,
I
but
don't think it will ever be there, but most of the grunt work, right? So basically
right,
scheduling and price quoting and things like that, which is pretty deterministic. I think the AI will be able to handle it. But the relationship, being cool, being nicer,
yeah,
being, like
exactly.
friendly,
Yeah,
that's never gonna go away, right? You're gonna buy from people who you like. Doesn't matter what the AI is gonna do, you're gonna only buy from people you kind of can work with, kind of like, kind of get along with. So that
Yeah,
relationship, I think, is not gonna go away. At least
that's
in
not gonna
sales,
change.
it's been there for thousands of years, right? The AI is not going to replace it. It's going to enhance it. I'm going to say, hey, Nir, we talked about this integration like 2 years ago. I mean, now we have it. Now, I can help you get to this, or Cloudonix, I have a new feature I can implement. Even if we talk in 6 months, the AI is going to remember. Like
Right.
we talked here, and here's what you guys talked about. So in that way, it's like super enhanced, right? Sales process, but
Yeah. you know, when so when Cloudonix started, Cloudonix we started back in 2019. AI was a myth at that point.
Mhm.
But when Cloudonix started, one of the things that we did, we called it contextual communications. And the idea was basically to enable companies to embed voice communications into mobile applications, into websites in such a way where data can be embedded from the application side or from the web page directly to the call itself and then traversed over to the contact center. The idea was basically to come in at that point and provide a piece of tech to save that company, that 3 to 4 minutes of context building that happens for every inbound call into the call center. So imagine, the insurance company, the bank, and so on. We did a calculation that across the globe, companies, Muhammad worked at a call center. For every 1 minute a human agent speaks to a person on the phone, it's $1.
Yeah.
$1 for every minute. And that means that on a global scale, at any given minute, there's an overall about $140 million every minute being spent on human agents.
Yeah.
And we said to ourselves back then, if we can if we can save just a fraction of that, we'll be like, and that's where we started. And everybody was looking at us like, what the hell is contextual communications? Like, what are you talking about? And now everything is context.
Yeah.
And
Context is everything.
context is everything.
Yep.
And I think, it comes like a full circle. Um, okay, so that's what us. First of all, Raj, thanks for jumping on this one because it's really
Yeah,
interesting.
not a problem. I
You
really
know,
loved it.
yeah, when Daniel showed, Twins AI, when we did the meet, the entire session back at Pace. So he showed, a lot of the tools, but not, the entire onboarding workflow. The onboarding workflow is the interesting because the cloning, how to do that the right way when you onboard an agent, that's an interesting question every time. um one
I have
thing,
a,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
no,
Go
no, go
ahead,
ahead.
sorry. I don't like I have visited a website like is very absolutely phenomenal at cloning your voice. It sounded like 100% like me. It's a fish audio, fish.audio. It's a
Yeah,
very
Fish is really good. We tried it, but because of the latency, we can't use that yet. But I do love Fish. Like the if you try Sonic 3 on from Cartesia, it's really good. But there's like a bunch of Sesames coming really good. There's another one. There's like a bunch of this open source model, but they're not fast enough for real-time conversation yet because of the infrastructure layer. But I'm hoping that by middle of next year, all of these guys will be like, you won't be able to tell a difference whatsoever.
I didn't
exactly.
notice opt-in for the voice cloning, Mirage. Do you need that where I would need to give you permission to clone the voice on the second stage? Is that a required element?
Yeah, it's just because now the voice, the provider itself like wants all kinds of things because they don't want other people to like use your voice. So I'm like when you're calling, you have to call with your own voice.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
yeah, so
We
Niraj,
we
I don't
know.
know if you're familiar with this one. You know that the carriers are now putting in AI systems of their own
Yep.
to monitor ongoing calls. So the carriers are gonna start in the US specifically, they're gonna start monitoring the first 60 seconds of the call. So if they will identify that it's an AI, they will identify if the AI is compliant.
Yeah.
You've seen that one?
I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it's coming.
So actually, so Cloudonix, we started a month ago. We started providing outbound services
Hmm.
with full steer shaking, level A attestation, and all of that. And it's been quite, we were very much surprised, at the success rate of people
Hmm.
getting from that service, which was pretty cool. Actually, people started moving from Twilio over to Cloudonix for that,
Oh, well,
indicating that they got a better answer rate. But the interesting part is that so the carrier that we partner with has this kind of AI platform, and we started seeing people getting their calls dropped
yeah,
the carrier level saying, sorry, your
you
AI
can't.
didn't announce that it's an AI. It didn't do this, it didn't do that, which is interesting. And I'm not yet sure what really happens from a regulatory perspective when you
Yeah,
clone a human agent a voice and then you call with an AI. So that's number one. I know that there are various what's called ringless voicemail cloned voice services that are out there, and I know that they're now becoming a little bit of a nuisance.
they are.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's like a whole. I'm sure the rules are getting rewritten like right now, but I don't
yeah.
think it's gonna come until like the next change of government, and at least in the U.S.
That if and when it comes,
Rules is not. There's nothing gonna
at
happen
this
in the
point
next
in
4 years.
time. Yeah. Cool. Cool. So, this more or less concludes, the first part. Niraj, I think that everybody here would love to. So the first part of this session is going to get published. It's going to be on. We're going to edit a little bit. And I'm going to get on YouTube and so on. So you'll be able to go back to it. Raj, if Twins AI has some kind of trial period or something that
Yeah,
people
we have
can,
a full 7-day trial periods. Please feel free to like just sign up. Like it's fully self-serve process. You will need some kind of help tweaking the prompt if it doesn't work exactly the way you want. And we are there. After you sign up, you get an email for onboarding help and things like that. So all of that is taken care of on
awesome,
self-serve.
awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, great.
So,
Okay,
like,
yeah.
I want to know like more about Cloudonix, but let leave that for another session maybe because time is up. So, okay, Niraj, thank you very much for the presentation. I really loved it, and I will very like try to have some uh like input from myself, like in trying out like what best I can do with that and
Yeah,
see.
absolutely.
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Okay,
All right.
so Thanks,
Okay.
Niraj. So we'll now start the second part of our session today. So the second part, so as I said previously, so all of our sessions are going to be a 2-hour session. First hour is going to be either something like we did today, where we bring in another founder, another company to present whatever they do. It could be, by the way, it could be any of you guys. If you're working on something cool, some interesting use case, you want to show it off, you want to show how cool you do things, then definitely this is the just ping over to us and we'll schedule it in. So, and the second part of the session is again, same as last time's the AMAs, a work, basically an office hours is time to come in and raise topics that are interesting, not necessarily only on AI, but also on telephony, regulatory things, problems, challenges. This is the idea to discuss these and figure out how to resolve them. Some of them we can resolve, some of them maybe we can't. We don't know yet. But the idea is just to make it interesting. And again, it's part of the community building effort in this case. So I'm going to go back to Helio's question, right? From the beginning, who wrote several questions about that he wants to understand about Cloudonix. And we'll go there. So Helio, you're welcome to join and open your microphone because I'm going to try and go.
I'm here. I'm
one by one.
here.
Yeah, I know. So, okay. How long does it usually take your team to deploy a solution for a new client? Well, it's
I know
actually,
that it depends, but right now we have one client that it's a clinic. It's about it's look like about 100 positions.
okay. So, so I don't know yet the details of exactly what you want to deploy, but
Mhm.
I can tell you
The
that
details, it's a voice agent just
yes.
to make the appointments and to schedule the exams for the clinics.
Okay. So, what platform are you using for that?
Right now, I am using the SynthFlow.
You're using Synflow.
Yeah.
And you, where is that? Is that operational in the US? Where's that operational?
No, it's Brazil.
In
First.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Uh, first thing, wrong platform. And I'll say why. Healy, are you still with us? I'm thinking he got disconnected or stuck.
Looks frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Yeah.
Helio, you still with us? That always happens. You start answering somebody and then they go, Zoom sucks. No, kidding. Here we go. Turned off his camera. Okay. Let's let Helio come back. Mohammed, I guess you had a couple of questions you wanted to ask previously.
Yep, exactly. So, like, I want to ask about like what is the solution of Cloudonix that you're delivering, and I'm pretty like not aware of it, so I want to know more about it.
Okay, so let's start from the basic. So Cloudonix is a communications platform. It's a communications stack. It is a communication. You know something? Let me show you a slide. It's the best
Hello,
thing.
hello.
Yeah,
Helio is back.
Ilya
Helio
is
is
Sorry.
back.
back. Okay. So I'm just gonna bring up this little bit of a slide to give you a better understanding of what Cloudonix is. Okay, so
I do have
as
to
I
jump
said,
in 5 minutes, guys. So
yeah,
if you have questions for me, I'm happy to stick around for another 5, 10.
okay. So hold on, let me just get my screen up there. So Cloudonix, as I said, at its core is a communications platform. Very similar to Twilio, if you want to think about it from a philosophical manner. But unlike Twilio, where Twilio is very much focused on phone numbers and call minutes and SMS messages, this is not what we do. Okay, we are what we refer to as a carrier agnostic or a BYOC native platform. So you can literally bring any kind of equipment or SIP capabilities from your on-premise PBX system or your contact center or your cloud provider or whatever, and you can connect them to Cloudonix. And what we've learned and what we've created is a platform that literally can connect to anything and expose the same type of API capabilities that Twilio provides you for voice services on any other telecom or communication stack. So, for example, you can have your office phone system connected to Cloudonix, and then all of Cloudonix's APIs are available on that one. Okay, so if we take, for example, Twins AI, okay, as an example, so we right now Twins AI uses Twilio phone numbers, right, Raj? And you use them as your primary stack. You can say, okay, now I can connect whatever carrier I want. I can connect to multiple phone systems. I can connect to multiple. I don't need to rely on VAPI. I can rely on multiple stacks at the same time, and I can go and create something far more robust. And what Cloudonix enables you to do, if you look at the evolution of how companies use AI voice. So we identified three very specific stages. We call the first stage, we call it the full stack orchestrator. So this is I'm building my first ever AI agent, and I need something to host everything for me. So I go to Vapi, I go to Retail, I go to Synflow. It builds everything. It gives me the phone numbers, the AI agent, the LLMs, everything. But at some point, that thing's become too expensive because I'm trying to build a SaaS. I'm trying to build a vertical product. And it becomes too SaaS. So I go to stage two, what we call the hybrid orchestrator. This is the point where I go in and I use LiveKit. I use Daily. They give me part of the stack, and then I can integrate some other stuff to make some other stuff go away. So it gives me some better control over my finances. The solution is a bit more complex, but it's still the same thing that is financially unpredictable and literally still a little bit expensive, but I'm reducing my vendor lock-in because I no longer use just Vapi or just Retail. I can do whatever I want. I can use multiple tools. And then I go into what's called the orchestrator ownership, basically saying I'm going to build my own Vapi, my own Retail. Okay, so you start using tools like Pipecat and Ultravox and all these open source tools that will come in, and Phonoster and Jambones, and let's bring everything in and start building all of it. And again, higher complexity. It's a lot more investment. And you're seeing that thing happening inside the AI voice SaaS services. You see companies that started on LiveKit and started now building their own stack, their own communication stack, their own AI stack, and their own orchestration stack. And this is exactly, by the way, what's happening right now to Retail. So Retail had been on LiveKit up until recently, and now they're starting to move away from Retail into their own stack. Vapi started also initially on Twilio and LiveKit, and then moved to Jambones. All kinds of things. Each one of them owns its own issue, and with Cloudonix, we're looking at it differently. So we're saying every company needs to be able to move from one stage to another without changing its infrastructure. It needs to have a singular infrastructure for everything. Should be able to support everything, regardless of how it works, and be able to bring in and move from one to the other. So what Cloudonix enables you to do is not just the phone numbers, or not just the call out capabilities, but also saying, okay, I want to connect my voice AI. So in Cloudonix, for example, so when you want to hook up an AI service provider, you just use, we have what we call a service verb inside our language. Basically, if you're familiar with TwyML, this is very similar. It's called CXML, but same concept. And all of these providers are already integrated. So you want to use Vapi, Retail, Synflow, whatever you want to use, you can use it inside the platform. You don't need to reintegrate things. You don't need to reinvent how am I going to connect to it. Yes, Mohammed.
So, like, my main question is, am I going to integrate like the AI voice assistant that I have already? Like that, I have a hardware at my place. Like I have my IVR setup. I have my all my landline setup. Am I able to like plug that my hardware to your system and get that AI output to my hardware?
Exactly what you can do. That's exactly
Like,
what you can do.
okay,
So let me show you this. So basically, let me log out. I'm going to log in again as my demo user.
yeah, sorry. So the follow-up question that I have is like, for example, if I'm a user that I have a hardware setup at my place that is given to a physical person, a person who is handling the IVR, the person who is handling the CRMs and all that stuff. So do you provide the solution for on-site or do you have the cloud solution also, all that stuff?
So we're not an on-site solution. It's a cloud service. Okay. But the idea is that you can connect your on-premise platform to Cloudonix, and then from Cloudonix to whatever AI platform you want to connect to, and you're able to do that. In that workflow, you can expose all of our APIs and all of our capabilities on top of your existing platform. So for example, you can have a call coming in to your PBX or your contact center, whatever, and then your IVR will say, I'm going to push it into Cloudonix. Or maybe the call goes into Cloudonix directly. And at some point, Cloudonix will just redirect it back in some form. Maybe from the AI agent, maybe from a script, maybe from something else. I don't know. Could be dozens of different things, dozens of different scenarios. So the idea is that I can create multiple domains. So these domains here basically enable me to create like multiple customers or workspaces. Each domain is like its own separate entity. And I can go into each one of them and I can literally set my own SIP trunks for inbound, for outbound. We recently did this with it's an integration with SignalWire, and so on. So you can create all sorts of integrations depending on your use cases. And once you decide I want to work with an AI, then you basically create what we call a voice application that will enable you to do whatever you want to do. A voice application is effectively a small CXML, or if you want to be really fancy, you can do something like this. You can actually write JavaScript inside the platform directly and execute like that. Mohammed, do you have another question?
Yep. So how is it different from integrating like WAPI directly into your IVR and then giving them a number? It's like more complicated than just plugging the WAPI, giving them a number, and routing that number back to your IVR. That sounds much easier than like Cloudonix, right?
You can do that. You can definitely do that. But here's where that thing falls short. Okay. Now imagine that you want to have your AI being serviced by 3 different AI platforms. For example, VAPI, Retail, and Synflow. You have the same agent working on all 3 of them. If it fails on VAPI, I want it to move to Retail. If it fails on Retail, move to Synflow. You want to create a scenario where you have 3 different agents, one on Retail, one on VAPI, one on Synflow, and move between them. Because one does one thing, then it needs to transfer to another on a different platform, which sounds better for a specific language or a specific task. Okay, if you're going to do that with your own PBX system, you're going to be coughing blood. Because your phone system, you'll need to expose it to the internet, which means you're going to have a security issue. You're going to need to enable various features such as refers or security features that will basically make your PBX exposed and potentially subject to fraud. So this is exactly where Cloudonix comes in, enables you to do that isolation and provide that capability.
Okay, so basically you are an open router for AI agents.
We're what?
Open router. Have you heard about that? Open router.
I know Open Router, yes.
So you're acting like a
It's an interesting way of looking at it, but considering I know Open Router at the core, not really, because because Cloudonix, what I described is one capability, but remember, Cloudonix, that capability is here inside the full stack orchestrator. But you can also do this. You can say, okay, I'm going to use LiveKit and take streaming interfaces from Cloudonix and use a streaming interface into LiveKit with this connect stream. Or you're going to say, actually, I prefer to have my own orchestrator ownership. So I'm going to use Ultravox and use the same interface. But at the same time, I'm going to use stream interfaces that are unidirectional to do sentiment analysis. And I'm going to have my DTMF capabilities. I'm going to have my API to do outbound calls and control everything. So technically, you can create your whole SaaS around this and wrapping all of it into a single environment.
Okay,
which is
okay,
already a
so
multi-tenant system.
exactly. I can see like making another company out of it and reselling your services to another company, right?
You can do that. You can definitely do that. Yes,
Okay.
Niraj, you raised your hand.
And in terms of like AMD type solutions, do you guys provide it out of the box, or this is carrier specific?
That is the beautiful part. So basically we have an API that starts an outbound call, very much, like other platforms. And it has two different sets of answering machine detection. So there is one that's called just machine detection. You can enable it or what's called detect message, and that is based on a heuristic.
Got it.
So what it does actually, it looks at what we call the energy of a specific call and tries to understand if that is a voicemail or not, depending on the heuristic of the behavior of that energy. Another option is to do what we call async AMD, where async AMD basically uses the same data, but at the back end will also be doing it in an asynchronous manner. So after the call is being answered, and potentially the voice application is starting to run already,
Yep.
it will listen to what happens from the other side, and at the end, it will send you a trigger to an endpoint that you provide telling you, hey, I think this is an answering machine or not. And then you can
And
decide
the latency, or like what is the speed and like that it
of
detects?
detection. You basically tell it. So you can
Okay.
say how long it will take machine detection timeout, speech threshold. So it could be as little as 3-4 seconds. So we've seen cases of people, it is very much dependent on country and
Does it depends on
behavioral.
the telephony system and the carrier
No,
too, or
none
is this like
whatsoever. It's
okay?
agnostic. So basically, you can connect any carrier to it. So I can run it on anything. Now, the most optimal way of doing this is something in this form. And this is what normally I would recommend people do if they want to reach like 100% reliability, is number one, to use async AMD. So you can decide what it is, but at the same time, when you provide here, for example, the CXML of executing, just start a stream, a unidirectional stream of the inbound audio from the other side to one of your own servers, and then just analyze it in real time.
Got it.
That way you can get like the best of both worlds. Of course, we have conferences, you can manage them and you can manage channels. One of the strongest, and this is actually pretty cool. You're gonna love this one, Niraj. So we have something called switch voice application. So switch voice application basically says, I have an existing call that's currently inside a specific voice application, and I'm going to switch it to something else. So it's literally, I'm on one call, and then the system is going to yank it out and just put it somewhere else.
No, interesting.
Like disconnecting the other side. So that's one thing. And another interesting tool is actually this one. It's called Fork. So a fork does something even crazier. A fork says, okay, I got two people talking at this point. So I'm gonna disconnect the two of them and I'm gonna take each one of them into a different workflow. It's like doing a double switch voice application, but to each person individually. So when do you need this stuff? Okay, is for example when you want to create something like a human in the loop scenario, like you have a human talking to an AI. Now you want to take each one of them and then put them back into a conference room, and bring in like a third person in.
Got it.
All
No,
kinds
that's an interesting use case.
all kinds of workflows like these. So all of them, and the nice thing, it's almost seamless. Like when you do it, there's no beeps and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. So it's pretty seamless. Um, so that's that. Helio, let's come back to what you were asking, right?
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
Yeah, sorry. So how long does it take to build something or integrate? Depended on the use case. We've seen integrations that were as short as 3 minutes, from sign up, dum 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 dum. It can be as short, and then we had customers working on it for like a month till they got the workflow what they wanted to create. So there's no straightforward answer here, really. So, but it is let's put it this way: it's pretty simple. So, for example, if you go on our developer website, so this is the staging environment. So there are a lot of let's say pre-available solutions on how to build all sorts of things, on how to create them. There's now a tutorial that I'm actually building on how to integrate, let's say, Twilio with Cloudonix and retail, or Telnix, Cloudonix and retail, and then I'm gonna have one similar for Vappy. What else? There are multiple out-of-the-box integrations. For example, with retail, Vappy, Levin Labs, Voice Hub. Voice Hub is new. Dasha. Dasha is really interesting for anybody who's working in Arab-speaking countries. They have some really interesting voices and very, very interesting capabilities in that respect. How to do LiveKit integrations, for example. By the way, if any of you is building a SaaS on LiveKit and wants us to put it as an integration into Cloudonix, just send me your LiveKit URL and your service name, and 5 minutes later it's enabled. It's really simple to do. So that's that. Okay, what industries or environments have you worked with so far? Healthcare, enterprise, contact center. Take your pick. Really, like all of them. We have clinics, we have insurance companies, we have outbound sales, outbound prospecting, real estate, lawyers, you name it. We even have, where is that little thing? Can't find it right now. We even had SpongeBob. So a part of our older tech, we have a mobile SDK for Android devices, and we used to work with Nickelodeon, and they have a product called Nick Watch, which used to have our tech in it. You can actually find it at Walmart.
Awesome.
Yeah. What's the average percentage of missed call recovery or workflow improvement you've achieved? That is a loaded question, because we're not really exposed to that data. But based on information we do have from when we started working with customers and then what we saw, okay, we saw customers, if you're talking about, let's say, outbound calling in the US, okay, we did see improvement according to what the customer says of anything between 15 to 25% in their answer ratio. But that can be mostly attributed to the fact that we enable through the Cloudonix termination services, Cloudonix connectivity, we enable you to do outbound calling with in the US with level A steer shaken attestation. So when a call gets to your phone, it doesn't appear as spam. So that is mostly related to that. One thing Cloudonix excels, people come to me and ask me, can you do 25,000 calls a day? My answer, you got customers doing 50,000 calls a day. No big deal. We can scale to any size. So we don't really have a limitation on that. It's mostly what kind of limitation your system has. How do you usually track return on investment or performance impact for customers? Answer, we don't. It's not our job. Cloudonix is an infrastructure, so we don't do any type of analytical analysis on the return on investment of what the customer, because we're not exposed to it. This is, for example, why Cloudonix, from a security and privacy standpoint, is very different than other platforms. So, for example, call recording, right? So most platforms take the call recording and they keep it indefinitely. If you record a call on Cloudonix after 7 days and you didn't download the recording at the end, 7 days it's gone. We delete it. Why is that? Because we are a privacy, GDPR, HIPAA, COPPA, and CCPA compliant by design. So we don't keep any type of personal identification data or health information and so on. So we're not interested in, we don't want it. So that is part of our design. Hope that answers part of your questions here.
Hey, Nir, I just want to mention that I have to drop off.
No worries, Niraj.
It was nice meeting you guys.
Likewise.
Thanks for joining the call. Take care.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
okay, have a good one.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Yeah. So, Helio, I hope this answers your questions, more or less.
Yes, a little bit, but it's okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So Marlon, you with
Yes,
us?
yes, I'm here.
Yeah. I get. Previously, I remember you had a question.
Well, actually, I'm checking on the developers page so I can check how to do the SIP trunking inside retail.
Okay. So retail SIP trunking is done like this. Let me show you.
Oh,
Okay,
great.
so let's do a little bit of a. Let's do something brand new. Okay. So let's imagine that I'm going to create a new domain here in Cloudonix. I'm going to create like this. I'm going to call it AMA Demo 1. Okay, so here's my domain. Pay attention to when you create a domain, Cloudonix will automatically put some kind of random hash at the end. This is a security measure. Okay, so here I am. I'm inside my domain. I can see inbound trunks. I can see outbound trunks. Everything is in here. So from retail's perspective, by the way, this also applies to VAPI. So let's do both. Okay, so yes, the dreaded SMS. There you go. So how does this actually going to work? So I'm going to go into phone numbers. So see this inbound trunk here? So this is the most, if you want, from Cloudonix's point of view, any communication that occurs from an external system, okay, needs to come into the inbound route, the inbound trunk. This is where it connects to. So if I'm sending a call from VAPI to Cloudonix, it has to be to the inbound trunk. When I want to send a call from Cloudonix to VAPI or to retail, that is done through the dial service verb. I'll show you a complete example how it's done.
Great.
So let's take this inbound trunk here. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to go to retail. and say, let's create a new phone number. Connect your own phone number. And I'm going to create a dummy phone number. 972. Yeah, let's do this. 1212-777-3456. I always use this number. Anybody here a Seinfeld fan? You know what this number is?
No.
Fucking This is Kramer's. Hello and welcome to the movie phone. The movie phone used to be like this IVR service in New York, and everybody would call from anywhere in the world in order to check your voice over IP service.
Oh, I get it.
Now that number no longer exists, so you can use 1212-7777-7777. 7 times 7. Okay. 7 times 7. And that is a car phone service. Just say I'm gonna give it a name. Cloudonix 1212-777-3456. Save. I'm done. That's it. This is my entire integration here. Now I'm going to take this number here, which I created, right? And I'm going to put it receptionist, fine. And I'm going to set also the outbound. That's it. I'm done. Now watch this. I'm going to say, okay, make an outbound call. Okay, make an outbound call and say, okay, dial to 1-347-348-2634. That's my phone number. And say call. Now the call is of course going to fail. Okay, but have a look here. Oh, very interesting. This is my call from Vappy, from retail. Just like that. It's here. Now, of course, it failed because it's not supposed to go in here at this point in time. But let's continue. Now, what I'm going to go, in order to actually make this work the right way, I'm going to go to subscribers. And I'm going to create a new subscriber, which is going to be 1-347-348-2634. A subscriber is effectively a SIP phone.
Sure.
I'm going to connect Zoiper in here. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to launch my Zoiper. And let's move Mr. Zoom over here so it doesn't interfere. And I'm going to share. Can't share everything. Too much stuff. Just a sec.
Oh, okay, dear. I just need to drop off and I need to go.
Okay. No
Have a good
worries.
one.
You too. So I'm going to share my screen here, desktop 2, desktop 1. Okay, everybody can see my desktop? So
Yes, I can see it.
okay, awesome. So I got Zoiper here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to change my user here. I'm going to delete this one. And I'm going to say it like this. So I'm going to create a new user in Zoiper. I can use this domain. See the domain that I created? I'm going to say plus 1-347-348-2634 at my domain. And this is my password. I'm going to say log in. Fill your host name. This is my host name. Everything looks okay. Next. Skip. If I've done everything correctly, it should say SIP UDP will be green. Yay, I'm registered. That is awesome. Now, wait a minute. I need to reshare this so you can actually hear it. Share sound. And I'm going to share my desktop. Okay, everybody can see everything again?
Not streaming thing.
No.
Ooh.
You're on mute.
We can't hear you now, Amir.
Anybody has an idea?
Okay,
Okay,
now,
now
okay,
you-
okay.
Yeah, you're back. You're back. And your screen also.
Okay. So now I'm going to go back into retail. I'm going to ask it to dial again. +1 347 348 2634. And if everything works the right way, I should be getting a call here. Or not. Let's see. So there's another congestion. +347 348. Subscriber is not registered. Gone. Why isn't my subscriber gone? Unregister, register. Let's see. Let's try again. +1 3 4 4 8 6 3 4. Interesting. Suggestion. Let's see what's happened. Subscriber at is not registered. Oh, it thinks I'm on an IPv6 network for some odd reason. Okay. Domain. This is a problem with Zoiper here. It's my Zoiper running amok for some odd reason.
That is super cool. Is it like making your own phone number?
In this case, yes.
That is cool.
It's just for testing purposes. Okay, so that's the outbound call. Just now let me show you how to do the inbound call. So now I want to call from this, right? So I know that I created an agent on retail where this is its number, right? 1212. So I'm going to go into my tutorials here. Sorry, quick templates, direct call routing. I'm going to take this here. And I'm going to create something called a container application. A container application is basically a small Lambda function or a serverless function. Dial to retail demo. JavaScript, do like this. Basically, this will take any inbound call and we'll just route it to retail. Created the application. And I'm going to go back to my domain. Now I'm going to create a voice application. In order for anything to work, I need a voice application. Route to retail. I'm going to put it in a lot of applications here. Route to retail. Dial to retail demo. Main. Okay, now I have my voice application. And now I can assign it a number. 1 2 1 2 7 7 7 3 4 5 6. Okay. Now I can go back here, and if I've done everything the right way, 1 + 1 3 4, sorry, 1 2 1 2 7 7 7 3 4 5 6. Okay. I wonder why the audio can't be heard. Potentially because of Zoom. Zoom audio device. Like this. Let's disconnect this. Count. Test. BDP. No, it's not here. It's audio. MacBook, Mac. Okay, here we go. See? There you go. Can you hear that?
Yes. I can see it actually.
Yeah. Hello? Call ended. Why did the call end? Answered. So the agent answered. Goes, I need to enable this border to border. Oh, it won't work. You want to 6, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hello? I think Zoom is just making a mock of my audio. But basically, we can see that the call here was answered. Here it is. Okay. And this is basically it. It's as simple as that. Now you can come in. I'll show you how to, on VAPI. Again, I'm going to take the exact same host name from here, go into integrations, go down here, create new SIP trunk, and we're calling it, put this one here, take AMA demo 1, like that, just for sake of. Now, here's something funky about retail, about VAPI. When you create a BYO SIP trunk on VAPI, always disable the inbound calls, because VAPI will accept any inbound call that is made to a valid E164 phone number, like a full-blown phone number that is defined on VAPI. So for example, this is my complete SIP trunk. Okay, I can decide that I want to use UDP or I want to use TLS and SRTP. TLS and SRTP basically means encrypted. Okay, which is the default for Cloudonix's behavior. And for this to work on TLS and SRTP, the port needs to be changed from 5060 to 443. Okay, because this is the encrypted port. Save SIP trunk.
Sure, copy that.
Okay. And here we go. Got created. Now I can go to phone numbers. Let's see. Do I have one of these phone numbers defined in here? I do not have one. Good. So I'm going to create one. It's going to be plus 12127773456. And I'm going to say this is going to be this one. Let's say Cloudonix 7773456. Import. And I'm going to select my agent here and my agent here. Everything looks nice. Save it. I'm going to go back to Cloudonix and I'm going to go into my container application. Where is that? Dial to retail demo. This is my demo. I'm just going to change here from retail to VAPI. And I'm going to go back here. Plus 12127773456. Calling. And my call is now inside VAPI. That's it. There's nothing more to that. So if I go into calls here, where is that? More call logs. You can see I'm going to end the call. You should be able to see it now. See inbound call. No, it's not that one. 212. Here we go. Call in progress is still active. It's still not really. Here we go.
Welcome to Cloudonix. This is Vicky. How can I help you today?
That's it. There's nothing more to that. So if I go into calls here, this is the entire integration, all of it, start to finish. And now I can go and do some really funky stuff if I want. Like I can change here and create situation and say, okay, it didn't work here, move there. I can even do Actually, I never tried doing that one.
Why did it default to Vicky? Vicky's on Cloudonix side, right?
No. It's I just named the prompt is called it says Vicky.
Oh, okay, you've named the agent Vicky on that.
Yeah, I just changed the prompt. See?
All right.
Yeah, it's nothing big deal there. It's but you can do, I can go here now into let's go 11 labs. There you go. Sign in, log in. Close this. I'll go 11 labs. Phone numbers, import phone number from SIP trunk. Go back here again, domains. Go back here, inbound. Copy this. Cloudonix 12127773456 plus 112773456 and media encryption allowed. Blah blah. SIP trunk username. There's no SIP trunk username. Where's that label? Inbound. SIP. Where's the SIP URI? Specify authentication. Password address. That's it. There we go. Transport type TLS, custom SIP username, not interesting, not interesting. And actually, I'll remove TLS. It needs to be TCP. Need to enable TLS as well. Blah, blah, blah. Import. Phone number exists. Really? Somebody already created it. Annoying. 131277777777. There you go. Import. Okay, so now I have this number. And I'm going to say support agent. Saving. Okay, so it's this number now. So I'm going to go back to Cloudonix, go into applications. Again, I'm going to activate the same application, but I'm going to add a new number to it. Plus 12127777777. Ah. Okay. Gonna go back into my container application and say here and say dial 11 labs update. And again, plus 12127777777. Calling and accepted. Because that means that again, my call is now inside 11 labs. I'm going to disconnect. Let's see, agents, tools, voices. Where are the logs in here? Agents, support agent. Where are the logs? No. New test integrations. I'm less versed with 11 labs and the other platforms. Settings, VoiceOver Studio. Anybody know where the reports are? Batch calling.
I'm not sure.
Copy. Conversations, maybe conversations. Support agent. This is October 9th. That's fine. Tools. Where they put all of that? Where are the reports? Affiliate usage. This API requests. View. Their system is far less complete than VAPI and Retail. Let's put it this way. But again, same integration flow, All of it more or less identical. No big deal on that one. Yeah. Any more questions?
Nir, I have one question.
Sure.
So it happened to us in production multiple times. In retail, recently that agent just stopped responding. It's gone. So is it possible in this cases somehow during the conversation to switch, for example, in this case from retail to VAPI?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So, okay. In order to do something like that, you will need to create some kind of outbound stream from Cloudonix
Okay.
of the agent voice and analyze it in some kind of external server to say, yes, that voice exists, the agent is responding. The problem that you're going to have is that even if you understand that the agent stopped speaking and is now dysfunctional, transferring it into an agent on, let's say, VAPI or any other platform will require the context
That's
of
what
what
I,
happened.
yeah.
And that tech currently doesn't exist. Or actually, well,
Could you use like Hamming or a
no, Hemming won't help you.
Secure?
No, because Hemming and all these tools
They're not
are
real time. They're after.
no, they're a post-mortem
Yeah.
analysis tool. Oh, I know what you can do. I can tell you what you can do. You can use Cloudonix's session update tool, session update API,
Okay.
to update. So you will need the streaming interface to understand that the AI agent stopped talking. But you can use your retail agent
Okay.
so to update the Cloudonix session profile
Okay.
on every turn. So when it starts speaking, to update Cloudonix, what happened? To update the conversation
Mm.
in Cloudonix. And in a case where your streaming server identifies that the agent is no longer speaking, to issue a switch voice application to VAPI and
To provide all this context.
to inject VAPI with all of the previous conversation. So the VAPI agent can effectively say something in the form, I see that my AI colleague stopped functioning. Let me take over. So the customer knows that, oh, I'm moving on to a new agent because the voices may differ. But
what do you think that the latency on this whole process would be?
well, if you expect that the AI agent will normally be responsive within, let's say, 2 seconds, 3 seconds from since the person stopped talking. So you'll need to stream both of them.
Mm.
You'll need one stream from one side and one stream from the other side. Then you will you will need to monitor both sides and kind of like calculate what happens when. It's a very interesting idea. I wonder if there is a way. Huh. So one of the things we were playing around with a while back. So in Cloudonix, there is a way to monitor the audio of an existing call.
Okay.
And normally, if there is no more audio coming from one side of the call for a period of 30 seconds, the call will automatically disconnect.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we can create a parallel mechanism that looks at the same audio path and then says, okay, that thing stopped. There's no more audio. I will send a trigger to something else to say there's no more audio coming in. What do you want me to do with it? Interesting. That's a very interesting feature, but I'm not fully convinced
It will work.
that not that it will work, but I'm not convinced that it is the Cloudonix platform place to do something like that. Because it means that we actively look at the audio, which will effectively violate HIPAA automatically.
Mm-hmm.
And that will require us to become a BAA compliant company.
Mm.
Because today we don't do something that's BAA compliant by default. Well, I think the right solution will be to build a streaming server for this.
Okay, I never did such a thing. Do you have some docs on that or?
Of course. So in our developer website, under the connect verb, there is a sample of a Java code, and there is a Python code that I wrote and I need to release into GitHub. So that will be available as well.
So what did you say in developer, also in documentation, and then
Marlon, what do you mean? Can we manually tweak the silence timing inside Cloudonix?
We just mentioned that Cloudonix, I mean, I think turns off the call when it reaches like 30 seconds of silence, right?
If it's not 30 seconds of silence, it's 30 seconds of RTP loss. Silence is not RTP loss.
Sure.
RTP loss means that one side stopped sending traffic completely. It's gone. It's dead.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And that number cannot be tweaked because it's effectively a standard.
Sure. Copy that.
Yeah. And so what is some kind of MCP work to connect them together?
Yeah, I meant like MCP makes system talk to each other in a way. So if there isn't any some kind of way to connect VAPI and retail to that point that if something does happen, there is information between them using a LLM that or using some kind of yeah, I'm just thinking out of the box, with that. And to have a way to connect them, just like how you was explaining earlier, but maybe a type of MCP that they share information between each other that automatically sets a response, just like how you said. Because they do have MCP connect, they can connect MCP to each other, but I don't know if that's only with LLMs or is it possible to connect each other to it. That
Yeah, an MCP connection is mostly for the LLM, not anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah. So maybe an
Um,
LLM in between them that maybe Cloud Code, Claude has like this function that it has agents, and maybe the agent is constantly listening for those kind of things.
So what you're proposing is I will have an agent that will communicate with the other agents and will serve as their memory.
Yeah, serve as a memory, or it's constantly listening to the transcript.
Not gonna work.
Not gonna work, huh?
Not gonna work because you're gonna have an agent that is one more level of unpredictability that you want to put in the middle between multiple agents. So you're gonna have like 5 different agents talking, going into that agent, asking it something, and it may give the different answer to the same question to all 5 of them.
Yeah, something will go wrong there because of the transcript. Yeah,
No, you have no way
predicting.
of predicting what's going to happen. Worse, you have no points of affinity.
Yeah, it might
There-
start hallucinating and stuff.
It's not hallucinating. There's effectively no single source of truth. An AI is never a source of truth.
Yeah, I understand that.
Interface.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Wow. That's a very interesting question. You know? Yeah. So yeah. So it's an interesting thing to answer to question. But
I just didn't pick up where can I find this documentation part in.
and so let me show you. Ba-ba-bum. So here we go. So developers, Cloudonix.com. And we were talking about, remind me, the streaming interface.
Streaming, yeah.
Streaming. So if you go to connect stream, there is a simple WebSocket audio server. This is based on Java and Vertex. So you can use this. Now this is a bidirectional streaming interface, basically sending audio into Cloudonix.
Okay.
But you can use the same workflow for an outbound and using start stream here. Okay, and basically this is the full streaming protocol, and basically it will start streaming the audio of a specific part of the call to your server.
Okay. Understood.
I really need to sit down and write some kind of demo for this.
Near, how do cell phones handle drop calls or not drop calls, but drop connections? You know, you pass them through. There's a technology, maybe Bluetooth is what I'm thinking about, where you pass it through a tunnel, the connection may be temporarily dropped, but it's resumed. Something similar to what I've been experiencing on Wi-Fi today. So it's the signal is not completely lost, but it's resumed upon signal strength. And I'm just wondering if some of that type
exists.
of
Yes.
in the form, if that's a solution for a dropped bot and or okay.
No.
And
okay. So number one, the tech that you're referring to in the voice over IP/SIP world is called a re-invite. A re-invite occurs effectively when either a network loss has been experienced or you need to shift from one server to another. But a re-invite can occur only within a period of 29 seconds.
Okay.
Because after 30 seconds by default, the loss of audio, the loss of RTP signal will disconnect the call. Okay. So Cloudonix has a default built-in mechanism that in a case where RTP is lost, okay, it will wait up to 30 seconds for a re-invite to occur. It will not initiate the re-invite on its own simply because it doesn't know where to. It has to come from the origin side. Now,
does a re-invite work the same as a network? Is that
yeah,
similar?
it's like you go into a tunnel and then come out the other side and then network reestablishes. It's the same thing. But when an agent stops talking,
Well, there's no memory context. It's just signal and its connectivity.
no, we don't know why it stopped talking. Did it stop talking because the LLM socket got disconnected? Did it stop talking because the TTS socket got jumbled up and died? or maybe the speech to text got messed up. So you got this whole pipeline of this whole chain of events that needs to occur in order for the agent to say something and to be generated. So we don't know what happened in that flow and why it got messed up. So there's no real way of doing, of forging a re-invite that will trigger that thing again.
I think the biggest challenge is the memory, right? Not necessarily so you can re-engage the agent, but it's the
But
context.
if the context doesn't exist, it's dead.
What about something like this, Get Zep, where you have put it in the chat, where you have a non-voice agent sidecar to the agent. And I don't know, I'm just kind of thinking outside of the box.
Actually, it's not a bad idea of creating like a sidecar agent that will monitor everything. It's exactly like what I said previously.
Yeah.
But instead of invoking one on a different platform, you're going to invoke in the same platform.
Look at in the chat where put in so there's a agentic platform called Zep that has memory for agents. This is not voice related, but that would be a redundancy potentially if somehow it could be a part of the stack stream on one part of the architecture where it at least is maintaining context.
Yes and no, because this is a synchronous platform.
Okay.
Yeah. It's mainly for chat. It's mainly for maintaining an overall workflow, as far as I can understand. But
because you think of like buffers. So if somehow you may not have 100% of the conversation, depending on where it cuts, but if it's yeah.
I don't think Neil likes rag though. He doesn't like rag.
I have no problem with rag.
You said something about the super bass.
I don't like super bass because I find super bass incredibly annoying. It became like everybody's go-to tool for vibe coding platforms without understanding what it does.
But isn't super bass just the name of the company and they use rag? I don't know.
No, RAG is a technology, it's a concept, it's a retrieval augmented generation. It's a concept.
And super bass
is as a product.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the same. My bad.
Zep. Very
But so the thing is carrying that context. And even if you can't get it 100%, at least if you can have a buffer at a percentage.
I'm not sure if I may use something like this because we are developing in Germany. And as far as I know, everything that we are using must be so data protection, blah, blah, everything in Europe, nothing in USA. So I'm not sure if I'm allowed to provide data to any kind of additional service, so to say, where the data can be stored and used. So
there's that part.
Yeah, Marlon, I agree with what you just wrote. Zep does look like a more accurate vector retrieval API and representation of any type of data inside a conversation. Makes perfect sense. But I'm not really sure how real time it can be for a voice agent. I can see this thing working, inside, like it has a 200 millisecond retrieval for 95% under 200 milliseconds. That means that for every interaction and every turn, inside a voice agent, you may introduce an additional 250 milliseconds at least of latency.
Yeah, because even if you have to do a TTS out, or no, speech to text out to Zep, then
No, you're not going to do a TTS out to Zep. You're going to do, at most, you're going to do an STT into Zep and storage of the conversation into Zep, but not, you're not. So that means no, you're going to end up, no, that doesn't make any sense because you may end up adding as much as 600 milliseconds on every turn.
Yeah.
No, I don't see that happening. I can see that happening for other things, but not for voice, not list, not like that. Just doesn't make sense. Zep's context assembly. Assemblies are every. Ah. This could be interesting. So they have what they call context assembly. So kind of like a tool that will build the context as the conversation continues. So that could work for voice, but I've never heard of them. So it's an interesting idea. Yeah, and making an API call every turn, yes, it will definitely make it accurate. Definitely make it accurate, but I don't know if people will be able to sustain that kind of workflow in terms of the usage. It's going to be annoying.
Yeah, and then Ivana mentioned she's in Germany, so that's that part too. So
you mean GDPR compliancy? That's gonna be yeah. Oh yeah! Wow.
Yeah.
When we are talking about that near, I'm allowed to use Cloudonix, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Cloudonix doesn't store any information.
That's what I thought. I just
so that will
saved
be
it to ask.
that will mean also in retail there's a post call analytic. There's a section that you get post call analytic, so you can't use that either because it stores information.
Yeah, I need to save it directly to my server and then to
Actually, in retail, there is a flag. If I
yes,
remember correctly, there's a flag that you can say that you don't want to store data as part of your agent setup.
And then they store it for really 5 minutes, send
Yeah.
you a post call analysis. You need to store it right away, and then it's gone from the retail. So
Exactly. So it's called, let's see, security. Here we go. This is called, it's like this. Oh, there we go. So in retail, you can say like data storage settings, like basic attributes only, personal data reduction, like if you want to redact anything.
post call analysis, no.
This
There.
no, post call has something else.
Where it was one.
Transcription, knowledge base, functions. No, it's in the security here. It's this one, security fallback. It's basically telling you don't store it, don't and redact everything. Just you see, redact the social security, password, email address, blah blah blah. Basically, whatever is there is never going to get stored. That's the idea. Okay, guys. Wow, I'm way over. Awesome. I love it. I love it when things go over real beyond what they should have. Okay, so we are well beyond the 2 hour mark. It's been fun. Next week, we're gonna have another session, and we're gonna do a tutorial. I'm still thinking of which tutorials that we're gonna have, but it's gonna be interesting. Maybe we'll do some failovers. Maybe we'll do something else. I don't know. So if you have any questions, we're on Discord. Join our Discord. You can ask any questions, and I'll see you all next week, hopefully.
Is it the Discord from the retail or is it a different Discord?
It's our Discord. You can go to the developer website, and there's a link to the Cloudonix Discord there.
To the develop website. When you mean
Develop-
that,
developerscloudonix.com.
okay, perfect then.
Go
I'll
there.
do
There's a
it.
link to our Discord. No worries. You know something? I'm going to put it in the chat. Hold on a
Yep.
second.
Yeah, put in the chat so I can do that right away.
Discord community, copy link. Here we go. Here we go.
Perfect.
Make sure it's the right one. Yep, that's the right one. There we go. So join our Discord, and if you have any questions, just shoot them out into the community. I'm there most of the day. If not, somebody else is going to answer anyway.
Perfect.
So awesome, guys. See you all next week.
Thank you,
ya.
Neil.
Yeah.
See you.
See you guys.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.